the upper bracket currently for the Summit 7 round 2. We got Newbee versus CDEC. Newbee took down LFY 2-1. And CDEC took down Vici Gaming 2-1. Or actually 2-0. And I do want to point out that in Newbee's case, actually, that's pretty impressive. Because LFY just a day ago qualified to the Moscow Epicenter LAN. So they were definitely a very good team. And Newbee was able to knock them down 2-1. And if you look at this Newbee roster, they do have some... in fact, a lot of their... Wait, did I put CDEC in the beginning? I think I put LGD. Alright, my bad, guys. It's actually CDEC that today's game is going to be about. CDEC, they have a couple of players that are also somewhat new. Actually, no, they're all here. Flyby, Shade, June, Demons, and September. The roster has not been changed too much. And like I said, they were able to take down Vici Gaming 2-0 to advance to this stage. And yeah, we got a draft along the way. CDEC will pick up Crystal Maiden and Omni Knight, whereas Sanking and Rubik will be selected by Newbee. So a couple of things to point out here for Newbee's draft so far. In the Chinese metagame, the teams really see Rubik as a quote-unquote counter to Sanking, because you could easily steal Sanking's Burrow Strike and then use it against the enemy team. So generally, when you see Sanking selected, the other team would always pick up the Rubik when they can, or if they haven't had a support selected yet. So generally, teams now are selecting Sanking and Rubik in tandem to prevent the quote-unquote counter pick. And then the other thing that's important to mention, that Omni Knight is generally the first phase pick or ban hero of choice, at least currently in the Chinese scene. A lot of times, the Chinese teams see him as kind of a lane dominator in the off lane. And I personally kind of agree with them, because unless you stick the whole tri-lane there, a lot of Omni Knights actually bully most of the commonly selected cores in the safe lane. So think of Juggernaut, hero that you could easily bully with the Omni Knight, Spectre, Slark, things of that nature.
10 seconds to go.
In fact, gets bullied pretty hard. I think Terrorblade gets to do a lot better, especially when he has access to Metamorphosis. But once that thing is on cooldown, Omni Knight comes in and give you the beat hammer pretty hard. So you do see Omni Knight being selected quite early. And I personally think that Omni is like one of the best heroes in the game if you could solve the laning situation. And it seems like the Chinese teams has, at least within their own metagame.
Ten seconds to go.
Second round of bans coming out. We got the Enigma and Darkseer being taken out by CDC. So evidently very worried about the teamfight capability of Newbee. Whereas Newbee would take out the Ember Spirit and Ricky as well. I am slightly surprised by the Ember Spirit ban, considering that they do have two heroes that could essentially guarantee lockdown and kills over the Ember Spirit. But perhaps just respecting some of these heroes, some of these players on CDC.
Admiral Conca.
Okay, I need to figure out who the hell is who.
Radiant's pick.
Because I only recognize Flyby. Like, Flyby is on the official roster. I don't know if these guys are using, like, different names or whatnot. Jakarai.
Terrorblade.
Dyer's pick.
It's Setsu September. But, yeah, this is going to be hard to call. Terrorblade is going to be the third pick here for Newbee, whereas we got a Kunkka for CDC. So right from the get-go, CDC is going to be operating much more with the ganks. And Invoker is probably the best core you could pick, at least from the mid lane, to be benefiting from the ganks. Because he is going to be always a +1 to the ganks, obviously. And the benefit from that is that this allows Invoker, even if he has like a poor laning stage, it allows him to catch back up. Sunstrikes, if you get the last hit, you get the gold, you get the experience without ever needing to leave the lane. And that is super important for Invoker, because you guys all know he is a very experience-dependent hero. And it's pretty easy to set up kills here. You got X, Torrent, Nova, Bite. Most of the time, I think, like Crystal Maiden and Kunkka, one of the downside between these two heroes as your support duo is that they don't do a lot of damage. Like Crystal Maiden will be predominantly maxing Aura first, so that means your nuking capability early on is going to be quite weak. And as you do know, Kunkka did receive like a couple of Torrent nerfs a couple of patches ago. So his damage output is also quite weak. So first of all, they are going to rely on the Sunstrike damage a lot. And even with the Sunstrike damage, I think you might need like a +1, whether it's Omni Knight or whatever the last pick is, to come in and get the ganks. Obviously, I guess if they X the Rubik, that's pretty much a free kill. But like for Pog, for Sanking, for Terrorblade, they probably need one more to ensure that they do get the kills. Meanwhile, we got Puck here for Team Newbee. And I wonder if this is going to be the KP hero or the SC mid hero. I don't recall SC playing a lot of Puck. So far I'm going to put it on KP. Although KP, I think he's also like much... Like I think he does a lot better on heroes like Slaughter and Sanking, like the initiator type of roles. Which technically Puck does feel, but I just haven't seen them in Puck. So, but there is a first for everything. So we shall see how Newbee align the heroes with the players.
Radiance ban.
Oh god, I'm running out of water. That is a bad sign when you're solo casting. But so far, if I have to pick a lineup that I personally prefer, I think I like the CDC lineup a little bit more. It's a lot easier to play, especially when you're kind of transitioning from laning to ganking. Crystal Maiden and Kunkka is so easy to like just pop a smoke, go to a lane, and ensure a kill. And allowing your Invoker to sit in lane and kind of economy it up with your Sunstrike kills is quite good. But in terms of the more dangerous team, I could definitely see Newbee winning a small fight and then transitioning into a big push. And yeah, Abaddon adds a lot to that. So this is going to be a mid puck, an off lane Abaddon for KP, and a lot of the late game going to be rest on the power of the Terrorblade. So I think if there's going to be one lane that CDC should attack, it's going to be the Terrorblade lane. And I did mention the laning capability of Terrorblade earlier versus the Omni Knight. Omni Knight needs to essentially bait out the Metamorphosis, wait it out, and then go back and kind of pull him. But if that's going to be possible, we will have to wait and see. So the Omni Knight player should be June, right? June is normally the offlane player for CDEC, but I don't know. The support player are generally Demons and September. You got Flyby and Carry and Shade on mid. So I'm going to be assuming that Invokers can be played by Shade. But again, I don't have the 100% info. So bear with me here, guys.
Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds.
Alright, boys and girls, we are in game 1 of Newbee versus CDEC. We are in the upper bracket of the Summit 7 qualifiers. Winner moves on, loser gets to drop to the lower bracket, so it's not the end of the road for either of these teams, but a good opportunity to get ahead. Faith will teleport to the bottom lane, but has no wards to drop, so this move is mostly to prevent the enemy from warding your jungle and whatnot. Sunstrike, checking over here, not gonna see anything. Sentry to block camp. And we'll see where the observers go. Sanking will get observer. Of course, if you're not a frequent viewer of the Newbee squad, Kaka used to be a 9k player in China, which is extremely difficult to come by. And I do believe SC is also used to be a 9k player.
30 seconds.
I don't know if they're currently 9k, but a lot of individual skills in this particular roster. And I think the most impressive thing about Kaka's 9k is that he's doing it with support heroes. And that is actually tremendously difficult. Darkrai is going to be leading the gank here. Torrent is going to hit on Faith. Very nicely done here. Nova is going to follow up. Nope, excuse me, Frostbite. And Flyby will be spinning in for the kill here. Nicely played, though. They're going to turn around and get a Crystal Maiden kill. In fact, it wasn't the first blood, but it definitely made it a close. Kaka, half barrel strike in 2 seconds. Metamorphosis has been used here. And now they said, look, turn around here on Kunkka. Kunkka with the movement speed, with the boots. It seems like there was a little bit of miscommunication as Mugi went for the Jugger, or Mugi went for the Kunkka, and then the Sanking went for the Terrorblade instead. So instead of actually having the traditionally the Omni Knight in the offlane. Instead, they're going to put an offensive tri-lane versus Newbee. So to me, this is already a big victory for CDEC. They got First Blood, obviously, that's a victory in itself, but they also forced out the Metamorphosis from Terrorblade. So that means for the next 1 minute and 30 seconds, Mugi is literally a glorified melee creep on this bottom lane, trying to get the last hits. And let me tell you that Juggernaut is going to be the better melee creeps, because he has access into spin, and should opportunity arise, he will actually be able to force out a kill. Top lane, KP on the Abaddon versus the Omni Knight. You can see that Omni Knight has the degen skilled up right now, and Boots as his next item of choice here. But mostly I'm going to be paying my attention to the bottom lane. Faith gets torrented up as well. Nice 2-man Burrow Strike though. No follow-up whatsoever here from Mugi. Mugi most likely has to take Reflection on 2, just to give him a little bit of defensive power in this lane. It seems like Newbee is losing out on this particular tri-lane, but I think it's okay for them to fall slightly behind, considering that they're the one that's running a defensive tri-lane. It's more up to CDEC to actually get something done in this lane. And so far, they are on a pretty decent advantage, and it might turn a little bit more. Torn just barely clipping Mugi, and Mugi will be given up yet another kill. Very nicely done by CDEC. So far, very impressive with this Kunkka player, able to land pretty much every single torrent without help, which is definitely a lot harder said than done. I think this is September, and then we got Demons playing the Crystal Maiden, or Darkrai. Shrine gets popped. Juggernaut a little bit late to the shower. Haste Rune though. Torrents. And now Faith is going to be rushing towards a rune. Easy rune for Faith. Now the Haste Rune does last quite a bit, so he gets to rush away. And September tries to seal the rune on the other side. They see the Crystal Maiden, and they can actually lift her up and toss her back. That's what they want. But instead Faith gets frostbitten up. They toss her back. Metamorphosis is ready again. Burrow Strike will come through. But the Torrent again here. September on the back line. Kaka's on the run. Darkrai will be fine as well. Nobody dies, but yet they force out yet another Metamorphosis. And they don't lose a hero from it. So CDEC to me, desperately, well, not desperately, but definitely winning the bottom lane tremendously. Back in the mid lane here. Shade. CSing away. Invoker only 9 and 3, and Puck actually getting a ton more denies. I find that extremely surprising, considering the fact that Invoker's got Alacrity running. But I'm pretty sure Invoker will be able to catch up. And even if he falls behind in the laning stage, like I mentioned, Sunstrike catch-up mechanism is going to be quite powerful for Shade. Or maybe SC is using his 9k mechanic, just outskilling Shade. Look at him go. Back on the top lane, we get Abaddon sitting at 19 CS to Omni Knight at 19 CS. So as you imagine, this lane is going to be like fairly even. Both these heroes have sustain, but KB does have the access into the shrine, and he'll pop it here. Neither team actually rotating to the mid lane just yet. So we got a fairly slow game overall. Man, this Puck is actually doing so much work here. The double no talisman allowing him to harass. And of course he's using his orb very nicely. Taking creeps as well as harassing Shade. Shade already forced to buy a infused raindrops. Always a bad sign when you see something like that. Bottom lane looks like X and Torrent comboed it up. But more or less a defensive casting of spells. Darkrai was perhaps in a little bit of trouble. But CS-wise though, Mugi able to really do okay here, despite the situation that he is pinned into. Looks like he was saving a couple of points, but now puts it into Metamorphosis as well as the Conjure Image. Kaka now rotating to the mid lane, perhaps trying to set up a kill here. Puck very close to level 6. Actually, not so close. Gonna need at least like 2 more Cook Waves to get there, but Shade knows something is up. He is falling behind right now. Kaka now making a rotation up top. Seems like Omni Knight is steadily winning out the lane, which I don't find too surprising, as Purification is a better quote-unquote laning spell compared to the Aphotic Shield. And he's currently able to bully out KP a little bit. The Sand Kings are rotating in though. I don't know if Kaka could trade here. In fact, he loses out on the trade very hard. We'll get pushed back. KP will, well, try to farm a lane of creeps with the neutrals at once. He can get ganked pretty hard though. Looks like Puck was forced to rotate to the bottom side to make sure that Faith does not die. So that's going to give Shade a little bit of recovery time. Is there any Sunstrike coming through? No, Faith makes it to a shrine. Back in the top jungle, KP looking to TP out. 2 more hammer hits. Oh, he dies to Orb Venom? No, Sunstrike. My goodness. Oh, I did talk about the Sunstrike as comeback, but I did not expect Sunstrike to the fountain, but that's exactly what happened. Kaka gets Burrow Strike, but here comes oh, there you go. Easy kill for the Omniite. June picks it up fairly easily. Bottom lane, Coil has been used here. Kunkka in a lot of trouble. They lift him out of the Coil stun. The tether breaks, and SC picks up the kill. So my big question is whether Omni Knight is going to be going for the quick mech or is he going to go for the Hanamitis. Looks like the Hanamitis is queued up. I love this choice. I think when you can get away with Hanamitis on Omni Knight, you should, because it really propels your mid games drastically. Omni Knight can farm decently, like you could use Purification in the jungle, but for the most part, he is one of the slower farming off lanes, like compared to, let's say, Sand King, for example. So, I like the Midas choice. Kaka hiding in the trees here, but hard to actually make a gank anywhere. September? I really like this rune spot, or ward spot, excuse me. Yep, baited out a sentry. In fact, just outside of the range of the sentry. Let me actually check out the vision of this ward. It's not exactly the best ward. I mean, doesn't see too much, but didn't get dewarded, so there you go. Alright, let's switch over to net worth for a bit. We got Juggernaut as well as Omni Knight leading quite happily. Juggernaut does have the Omni Slash and of course a teleport scroll to go with it to help out with the other lanes.
That should help.
Again, I think this game, if it's slowed down, it really favors CDEC. CDEC is a team that's working with 2 Hanamitises, or will be. As June, as well as Shade, will be finishing one up fairly soon. Whereas Newbee is, you know, more or less on the clock. Mostly of their income is going to be coming through from the Terrorblade. And if Terrorblade does not get that early Dragonlance, and kind of selectively push down these tier 1 towers, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Speaking of Terrorblade, he is not farming at all. Picks up the Iron Talon to actually go into the jungle, but top lane, KP, ultimate being forced out. But overall, really losing the lane. Looks like he is going to be going for Hanamitis as well. But pretty sure he's going to finish that one a little bit later compared to the Omni Knight. Shade now being extremely aggressive, going for the kill here. Sunstrike missing now. Looks like SC thinking about turning around, but if there was a TP coming in, that coil would have been pretty good, but I wonder if he used that coil almost defensively there. SC Shrine is not available, so I'm not sure why he's going there. And now it looks like Sand King pings out that there is a ward, as the 9-minute camp did not spawn. So apart from the mid lane, which is pretty much a wash, CDEC winning the laning stage pretty hard. And now Torrent finds Faith. They got the Frostbite, they got the X, Sunstrike on top, marking back, nicely done. Shay picks up the kill thanks to September's initiation, and well, he picks up even more experience. In fact, Meteors a creep wave. Is he gonna start jungling? I think so. Yeah, he's got the Hanamitis running as well. This is really good considering that his start wasn't the best in the laning stage, but like I mentioned during the drafting phase, dude, you just Sunstrike and you catch back up.
Hey,
you're fine.
Bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Radiant's gone and fortified their structures. The time.
In the last couple of days of casting,
Radiant's bottom
the Chinese scene is definitely having a resurgence of Kunkka, and I really like it.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Afu from former WG Uni has really brought it from overseas. And let me tell you, this pirate has been, well, winning a lot of games. In fact, I think whenever people play against Afu now from LFY, they just ban out Kunkka. Juggernaut takes down the tier 1 bottom and continues to shove the lane. Very hard to actually kill him. In fact, there is nobody that could actually kill him if he spins TP. I mean, they could right click him down, but if he spin TPs at full HP, he's not going to die. So he understands that, and he's going to farm very aggressively. Okay, Kaka will sandstorm. And now the spin. I force him to walk away. Kaka's just going to stand here and tank it up. The fake torrents will force Kaka to run away. And now Faith teleports in. He is level 6. Looking to get off a spell steal. Will get himself an X marks the spot. Coil is going to be going on Demons or Darkrai. And Faith will KS that with the Zap. Man, somebody was using the courier for a while because Shay finished the Hanamitis and had like 700 gold in the bank. Alright, I'm pretty sure Shay wanted to use that courier a little bit earlier, but he'll be fine. Alright, well, my biggest concern for Newbee right now is that they have absolutely no offense. Their offense really relies on Mugi farming well in the laning stage, and then kind of transitioning into him like joining ganks and then pushing. And speaking of joining ganks, that might happen right now. SC does have the blink finish, which is somewhat unusual. Normally you see like a Veil of Discord first. Blink Silence is the way they need to start this fight. Where is the... Oh, they can start with Burrow Strike. Blink Silence to follow through. They lift them up for good measures. Torrent is going to hit here by September, but... Oh, you gotta be very careful. And this is the Terrorblade game plan, right? You go in the lane, you use Metamorphosis, your teammate comes in, you get off the gank, and you push a tower. But it seems like CDC wants to fight this. Flyby does have the Omni Slash available. He's gonna try to backstab. And here we go, Spin coming in here. They want Mugi. Mugi does have the Sunder. In fact, he will use it on Flyby. And now the direction is going to go. Burrow Strike's going to come through. The healing ward is going to go down. They lift him up as well. Spin is stolen here. Omni Slash does fly out. And mostly it goes on Faith. The tower finishes Faith down. X-Torn back with a Sunstrike. Shade gets the kill there. And now tower is defended. Flyby gets a kill. Tower is in deny range. Invoker doesn't even join the fight. And he gets a kill. CDC making it happen. And that's a lot of commitment. Again, Radiant is not working with Hanamitis. They need these tower gold, at least a tier 1 tower gold. The first meta for a push use, they don't get anything. I mean, they got a kill or two, but that's like whatever. So CDC definitely reacting extremely well to whatever that Newbee's throwing at them. Alright, I'm getting a little bit of slideshow Dota, so maybe I could go for a reconnect if the problem persists. Normally I have no trouble with the slideshow Dota because I am in China. So the lag should be fine. Oh, SC is gonna eat a little bit of stuns here. Sunstrike! Alright, Shade is literally Chaos God. And I think that's the best way to play Invoker, be a Chaos God. He is, like, let's compare the level right now, right? He is farming non-stop. He's only level 12, but he's only got this Midas, like, what, 2-3 minutes ago? He is going to propel into levels so damn quickly. I am surprised that his net worth is not higher though. But, you know, he'll be fine. Looks like he is opting to finish the Aghanim Scepter before going for the BOTs.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Harmony Knight with his Hanamitis run finish. Yep, Sacred Relic into Radiance. I like it. I think there is an argument for going for like a Mech or a Greaves because you are up against Puck. You know, like, remember how he died in the top lane was he got lifted, he got Burrow Striked, and then he got silenced. So throughout the mid and late game, maybe having Greaves to debuff you from the silence is nice, but he's gonna just go for the semi-carry build. Alright, Newbee. Looks like yet another big smoke gank. Sanking very far away from his Blink Dagger. Jesus Christ, Kaka has no farm. SC now coming back in. If September tanks a smoke gank, like this is a big win. Oh no, they're gonna go for him again. It's gonna be June getting caught. Silence gonna be on him. Burrow Strike. The Torrent, the bow is gonna be there now. He even got off the Purification. This gank is over. He's gonna be fine. In fact, he pops up Repel himself. It says, Faith, you're meeting the hammer. That's gonna be 1 kill. Kaka, Sentry Ward's gonna be there. And now Newbee getting absolutely destroyed by CDC. Great counterplay again here. And I gotta say, September breaks a smoke, get out of range, puts up a Torrent bow to make sure that his core doesn't die. He is the 4 position player that we all strive to be. Like, that's how you play good Dota. Alright, these Juggernaut illusions do a little bit of damage to the mid tower. Alright, I think Newbee needs to go into recovery mode. The recovery mode entails Sanking just AFK farms Blink Dagger, and Terrorblade like finishing his Manta and going towards BKB, because as the game progressing right now, they are really unable to take down tier 1 towers, which they need to. And they're really unable to fight head on, so I think the only option that they have available is to dodge ganks and just farm. And it's gonna be rough here for the next 10 to 15 minutes, because it's gonna be CDEC doing whatever the hell they want to do, whether it's pushing tier 1 towers, or going for Roshan, or whatever else. Alright, Alacrity being stolen. That's a good one to steal, actually. Put on Newbee and let him farm. Look at him go. But here comes that gank party that I mentioned for CDEC. SC is probably the most survivable one, but if they X-Torrent bolt him, he could face the Torrent but not the bolt, given the fact that his phase is pretty low. But they're gonna find Faith here, and now Flyby just straight up rips the Omni Slash. Cold Snap. He's trying to move it out there, but the constant chain stun with the Cold Snap on top. It was Cold Snap, Frostbite, and of course the constant spinning by Flyby. Shade, as per usual, KSS will Sunstrike, and he is absolutely rich. Ironically, even with Flyby and Shade doing extremely well, it's Jude who's doing even better. Highest CS, highest net worth in his whole team. Has the Radiance finish, I believe. I think the recipe was like purchased earlier. Yep, finish Radiance in 18 minutes with a Hand of Midas. If this is one of your few games of watching competitive Dota, this is good farm. If you open up a dictionary and look up good farm, you'll see a picture of burning, and then you'll see also this Radiance Midas in 18.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
CDC thinking about Roshan as an opportunity, but there's really no need for CDC to start taking some unnecessary risk. I think if they're so far ahead right now, they can kind of just chill and keep on farming. Alright, Kunkka picks up an urn. I find that somewhat interesting. And also a face boot. The face boot makes more sense because later on he's going to go into Tiebringer, and that's going to be a good way to catch up on farm. Urn is not something you see too often, but obviously definitely a very, very good sustain item. And speaking of sustain, like in conjunction with the urn, purification, healing ward, as well as the Cocoa Rum, during teamfight, CDEC is going to be mightily tanky. And I think that's largely a reason why Newbee is struggling so hard. They're just... Remember that smoke gank to the bottom? They were going on Omni Knight, and the bolt came out, and he just healed himself, and that was the gank. That's the problem that Newbee's going to have to run into in this mid game, especially when they're so behind in terms of items. Trying to answer back a little bit here with the pressure on the bottom, but Flyby's already at the tier 2. He's got Mantas, so he is sending Illusion, cutting off the crit wave. And tier 2 is taking somewhat of a beating. Alright, X-Torrent Bolt. They got Illusion pretty good. Small victory here for Terrorblade and friends, but Bolt has one of the shorter cooldowns, so I'm not even sure if that's even that big of a victory. KP does have the Radiance running, or sorry, does have the Midas running, and he's almost nearing to the Radiance finish, so that's gonna be a big item pickup for them. Because Terrorblade doesn't have enough items to sit in the front line right now, but hold that thought here. A Sang can get solo kill here by Shade. Well, that's going to be rough. They go into the Roshan pit, but I do believe the scan actually got them out, so CDC is fully aware of this. They pop the Torrent, no bolt available, but Torrent picks up on everybody. The Meteor, the Coil is going to be used here onto September on the right side. They X-swap on Mugi. Does Mugi have the Sunder? He will pop the Sunder right now, and actually drives them back. So far, CDC has stopped the Roshan. The Sunstrike's going to come through. It will miss on Faith, though. Tornado, however, does pick up the puck. The right clicks are coming through. SC gets frostbitten up. SC's gonna go down. Well, the Roshan sneak is no longer working. And is it low enough for CDC to go back in? No, it's not. And that's really a sign of desperate play here by Team Newbee to go for that Roshan sneak. But they are behind by quite a bit, as you can see by the net worth differential. So I don't fault them for making that play, but unfortunately for them, it did not work out. It also doesn't help that, you know, Sanking died before the fight even happened. But now, CDC says, thank you for softening up Roche. We'll go back in and take it. Aegis going to Shade. And the rest of the team goes back to farming.
Gold for my chest.
CDC says, look guys, we're so far ahead, we got Aegis. Let's just start hitting some more towers. And that's exactly what's happening. I like the play by September though. He's gonna try to X1, expecting this to be one of the real heroes. In fact, no such thing. None of these were real heroes. They don't get the tier 2, but that's fine.
I'll take your tribute.
I wonder what Invoker's saving for us this next item. Octarine is pretty common in this case. Looks like he's going to be going for Hex. Alright. A wise choice. Hex is always good. Oh, I did kind of mention it earlier, but now that we have a little bit more time to talk about it. Normally you see Puck finishing the Veil of Discord first before the Blink. It's because Veil of Discord allows you to actually get to Blink very quickly. It's a very efficient farming tool. And of course, early on in the game, you don't really need the power of the initiation that badly. Alright, they thought this one was the real one. So, you'll get juked. By popping the Veil on a creep wave, you could actually pop them fairly easily with your 2 nukes, as so. And that will actually allow you to go into your Blink very, very quickly. Now the reason that he went for Blink instead of Veil first this game is that they were so far behind already in that stage of the game that he needed Blink to actually make some catch happen. And I do believe they got a couple picks. In particular, I think they killed Omni Knight once with a Blink up top. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. So that gambit did not pay off. 3-man smoke here in the jungle for CDEC. Oh, sorry for missing that kill. I'm not sure where he got the kill. Looks like here. With Invoker, you never know because Sunstrike is the thing. Looks like he just kind of comboed the Sankey. And here it goes. CDC will be claiming this tier 2. Torrent will miss here. But power goes down.
Radiant's mid tower's in trouble.
Tornado will clip one up in the air. Ice Wall on top of KP. They lift them up. Keep in mind the Invoker does have the Aegis. Right, he will Ghost Walk right out of there. X Bolt is going to be on top of KP. KP does not have the ult anymore. Omni Slash is going to be on top. Guardian Angel allowing them to dive even further. Faith steals the repel. Not going to be good enough. Sunstrike not going to hit. But the base is gonna be opened up here to CDEC, and as they're sieging hard onto this tier 3. The question is, will they back off after the tier 3 or will they continue on? Glyph is gonna come out, but 45 seconds before Abaddon comes back. I think they could keep going. And in fact they will. Melee Rack's under siege, and honestly at this stage of the game I really don't see what could Newbee do to actually make a comeback here. Alright, Faith lifts one up. They toss him back. Sunstrike on top here, and Kaka gonna go down. Terrorblade is working overtime up top. Does take down the tier 2 and now is forcing a couple of TPs back, but to what avail because you have lost your melee racks already. We're sitting about a 20k net worth lead. If you just compare it to the carries, right? Like, Juggernaut is surprisingly underfarmed given the situation he is in, but Invoker, Omni Knight, well ahead. Back in the mid lane, SC trying to go for some solo kills. Alright, there's a blink away. I was gonna say, if he got that kill with the Sunstrike. Alright, let's see some item progression coming out. Kunkka going for the Shadow Blade. Pretty standard choice, will help him do damage later on, and of course will make the initiation much easier. Lincoln's Midas, Yasha, and Radiance. Holy hell, this is one of the most farm Omni I've seen. Of course, we've seen the Hex been put into good work by Shade. And then Manta Diffusal, pretty standard by Flyby. And Crystal Maiden has a hand of Midas as well, so both teams really using the Midas as both as a catch-up mechanism as well as a way to get ahead. The Newbee will be losing structure after structure. Shrines are now open as well, and Flyby will chop those up. Normally when you're so far behind, like one thing you could lean on is having some strong teamfight capabilities, but I don't know if Newbee's teamfight is even good enough. Like the best teamfight is what, Coil and 4-man Epicenter Burrow Strike combo, but probably CDEC survives that. They pop Guardian Angel and like heal. Look at this push. Oh god, not like this. Remember when I said 4-man Epicenter? Well,
guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
We're not gonna see a 4-man Epicenter.
The Dire gave up a bottom tower.
The one thing that Mugi's actually playing really well is he's ratting like a god, right? He's never been caught a single time while ratting, which I think is absolutely impressive. And by doing this, like for example, like the Invoker's not there right now, putting Alacrity on, at least on the Omni Knight. He's getting some damage on the tier 2. In fact, tier 2 goes down to half HP. So despite the situation that Newbee's at, let's just say that Mugi is playing really good split push. But is really good split push good enough? Because Invoker will be OT to the top lane, Juggernaut will be shortly nearby. It looks like KP is looking to fight here. Jin just walks in. Kaka does not have the Epicenter. Keep that in mind. Burrow Strike will only hit on one. Here comes the boat. The Coco Run will be applied on everybody. Setsu pops up BKB. He walks away from the coil. Guardian Angel only hitting himself. Pretty good fight so far here. BKB'd up on Mugi, and he's looking to right-click Crystal Maiden, doing a zoning Crystal Maiden ultimate. KP on the backline, applying the Radiance. The Omni Slash will fly out. Takes down one, but looks like he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Omni healing himself back up, and now Invoker on the backline, dropping down his AoE. The Dual Scepter as well as Torn on top. It's going to be a Sunstrike on 2. Invoker does go down to Faye. Faye actually blinks to the right side. Gets chopped up. A really good team fight for Newbee considering the situation they're in. But CDEC, despite, I think, getting surprise jumped on, because they're just so far ahead, Zohao Busong calling the GG. Oh my god. I think Zohao Busong roughly translates into like, move carefully, don't feed, which is kind of the opposite of what Newbee just did. You know, considering that team fight, what if Kaka had Epicenter? Remember he blew it in his, like, base? Maybe if they had Epicenter, like, this fight might have been a little bit more even, but let's be real. Like the game was so behind for Newbee. I'm impressed that they actually took it an okay team fight, given the situation they're in. But yep, Shade playing extremely well, 9-1-6. Flyby with their offensive trialing doing well as well, 8-0-6. And then of course, I think the MVP for me is definitely June on his Omni Knight. Not exactly the best tagline in terms of kills, but his farm is absolutely amazing. And that is game 1 in the book. CDEC takes it pretty much in a landslide victory over Newbee. And we're going to go into game 2. We'll take a short break. We'll be back, guys. And I need to change this logo, so give me a second, boys.
I'm doing good, doing good. Probably super rusty. Haven't casted in a while, but hopefully we truck on through. Really excited to watch. I've been watching a lot of the qualifiers and stuff, so really excited to watch these teams play.
Alright, I just realized I muted my mic for that introduction, but they heard you. That's the most important part, but
Standard Luminous stuff.
just to go through that once again, we are in the upper bracket of the Summit 7 Chinese qualifiers. Newbee is down one game after that pretty disastrous laning stage from what we saw. I think CDEC was able to win essentially all 3 lanes, and they kind of just snowball from there. So we got game 2 on the way. I think you saw game 1, right?
Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah, I noticed that you were talking about the Kunkka pick. I've also seen Yapsor play it, for those that follow European stuff. The hero is pretty interesting because he has a lot of roaming power early on, and the Coco Rum, obviously very strong in a lot of team fights. So we'll see what they're going to be doing with this draft here.
Right. So far, we're going to see a Phoenix and Axe combination. So you already know what CDC have an idea in the mid game, which is the Blink Call into the Phoenix Egg. And once again, they'll be banning up both Darkseer and Enigma. I think they had the exact same 2 bans in the second phase. So evidently very worried about Newbee's team fight, and they want to be the one that has the, I guess, the team fight superiority.
Yeah, seems like the thing is we're talking about the Phoenix GPM stuff earlier and how he's played as a position 4. So we'll probably be seeing him picking up some core items. He's probably one of the better supports as you transition into the later stages of the game. And Axe is really good at kind of winning that mid lane, the mid game for you, I should say.
Right.
So hopefully Phoenix can transition and play. He's probably going to be playing the hard position 5. We'll see how he plays, and then he can get those GPM talents to kind of transition into the later stages of the game.
So if we have to make a bet right now, you're betting on the Phoenix GPM talent?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were talking about it earlier. The DPS is really good, especially if you kind of want to push your advantage already. If you're doing pretty well, of course, if you have a hero like Axe who can go for that call, it makes it really easy to land the DPS, the fire spirits to begin with. So the DPS will be really good.
Right.
But I think it's just safer to go for the GPM talents, and here we see Kunkka again, of course, who works very well once you have the Axe Call. And it's really good with the Phoenix as well, because you can always make sure targets come back into that Supernova AO.
Right. So I think the more impressive thing that we saw last game was like Kunkka was able to land a lot of these torrents without help. And I'm not even talking about without help of like his own X. Like his teammates really even set up for him. He just kind of blind torrented, expecting heroes to be there, and he got it a lot of times. And he needs to actually display a lot of that this game, because Phoenix ain't gonna helping you land your torrents. Let me tell you that. So
yeah.
He's gonna be on his own for a lot of times, which September played it pretty good. So I expect him to do very similar stuff. And we got Ursa from the other side for Newbee. Earlier today when we were playing pubs, we understand that Ursa is not very good as a core, because he gets out carried pretty hard. But one thing we could say for sure is that these teams are very good at riding the tempo advantage that Ursa provides. Couple minutes where you get an early blink, you assassinate a couple of heroes, you take down a tower or 2, you take down Roshan, and suddenly the game is very muchly in your favor. So that is going to be the state of the game where I'm going to be looking forward to see whether Newbee could drive into, whether they can have that massive tempo advantage in like the 10 to 15 minute mark.
Yeah, that's true. And he'll probably be going for a very early Blade Mail, I think, because Ursa kind of just kills himself if you're able to get a call and Blade Mail onto him. Yeah. And then we have a Tidehunter pickup, which is pretty interesting here. There isn't too much synergy between Ursa and Tidehunter, I think. They probably... Well, the problem with Ursa is he's not a very good high ground hero. That's probably one of his biggest faults. Tidehunter is a hero that is okay at team fighting, but Ursa is one of those heroes that likes to constantly team fight, and the thing with Crystal Maiden is she lets you do that, but Tidehunter... the thing with Tidehunter is once you blow your Ravage, you don't, the other team knows that you've used it, so you don't have that feigning the Ravage or, feigning a team fight or something. So you kind of commit that Ravage, and he doesn't really contribute so much to Ursa's strength, so we'll see how he ends up playing. So it's just a pretty interesting pickup with the Tidehunter, especially considering they picked up a hero like Phoenix and Axe. He doesn't do too much against those heroes either.
Right.
I guess it's a little bit more of a counter initiation, perhaps.
I think the big thing is that they wanted a hero that won't be chain disabled. Like I think the strong thing about Tidehunter is that he's guaranteed to get off his ultimate, like no matter what, right? And you can't say the same for like Darkseer or Enigma or whatever, because if you get torrented, bolted, magic missile called, you're just gonna die. Whereas Tidehunter, even if he goes through the meat grinder, he could still press his Ravage button and get off a team fight.
10
so
seconds to go.
I think that's the reason that Tidehunter is picked up. Because kind of like you said, I don't think he does particularly that well against these heroes individually. He doesn't right click too fast against the Phoenix Egg. He doesn't lane particularly amazingly against Vengeful Spirit. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, so it looks like they need their mid hero for CDEC. Who do you think that's going to be against the OD here?
10 seconds to go.
Ooh, that's rough. I think OD is actually one of the strongest like laning hero you could have, right, in the mid lane.
5 seconds.
Yeah, he's pretty annoying. Did the Chinese teams really play Lina a lot? I'm not sure if I've seen.
Yeah, Lina's definitely very popular. I think Lina, Tinker, and Sniper are traditionally like the three more popular hero. Heyo. All right.
I played against a Pudge OD offlane. I mean, this is not what we're gonna see, but you can do some pretty nasty combos with OD Pudge. It's pretty disgusting.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna see offlane OD Pudge. I'll tell you that. But you can see what the idea, right? In terms of the mid game, you astral somebody, and then the hook is pretty much guaranteed. You just count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Yeah.
And then, well, up to 4, and then you hook. And I think the nice added benefit of having OD also is that when somebody gets X-Torn combo, you could kind of time it in such a way that you could astral the person that dodges the torrent.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. It's also really good against the axe, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to cut you off there. Yeah, but yeah, it's really good against the axe. So they have a pretty decent, but the thing again is, Queen of Pain is the last pickup. The thing about Newbee is, I'm looking at their draft, they still don't have any tower hitters. I think their team is a little all over the place, to be honest. But we'll see if they're able to chain a few kills very early on.
It seems like neither team is really putting tower hitting as a high objective, right?
Yeah.
I think Queen of Pain does okay and Venge does okay versus tower, but it seems like both teams just want to kill each other. I think this Pudge pick really signifies that for Newbee. So I think we're really going to be up for an action-packed game where both teams looking to team fight. Or it's just fight a lot.
Yep. The thing about Queen of Pain is people typically say that she falls off very hard as the game kind of transitions on, but I've seen a very interesting build from Sumail where you go for a very early like Maelstrom. You kind of build some of the other items.
Right.
Like maybe I want to pick up an Ags or depending on if you need like a Yules or something. I forget exactly what his build is, but you kind of transition into a Mjolnir and then you go for that same 70% lifesteal thing, and it's sort of like how crazy the old blade mail was. It's not that bad, but you can kind of put the chain on yourself, and especially with something like rot running, you can get a lot of proc. So it really depends on how the rest of the team fight kind of goes. But she can sustain herself, kind of transition into the late game.
Well, that's assuming you get to 25, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Which is definitely not guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder how this game's going to go, because once again, we said neither team's going to be particularly good at hitting towers, but they're both pretty good at fighting early on, just hitting heroes. So, yeah, we might see an early GG if things don't go, too favorable for one team.
All right, I'm going to quickly introduce both teams as we have Newbee smoked up. Again, they're down 1 game in this best of 3 series, so this is kind of a must-win situation. SC will be playing the OD. We got Faith playing the Crystal Maiden. KP on the Tidehunter. On the bottom side, we got Mugi on the Ursa. And looks like Kaka already ported out very deep Observe Ward. Not exactly the most common warding spot, especially this early on. Being placed on. It looks like his smoke is going to be broken by June. I imagine this is June on the axe. And then we got Shade playing the Queen of Pain. We got, who the hell is this? Is this Demons or is this? Yeah, this is Demons playing the 5 position Phoenix. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful ass Phoenix set. Worth like hundreds of dollars, but looks good. We got Demons playing the, wait, this is Demons. Yeah, Demons is playing Kunkka. Shade last game on Kunkka, this game on Phoenix.
30 seconds.
And then finally we got Flyby on the Venge. It looks like we're gonna see a very late smoke coming out from CDEC. Not exactly very common, but they do have a ward scoping out this fight, and they're gonna walk up the ramp.
Yeah, I think they purposely actually smoked late, because when you smoke early, you go for that early observer ward. So this is something that you won't expect. This is probably something that used to actually happen a while ago, and it looks like we're gonna have a team fight break now here.
Okay, but that's a clap 1-2 rod on everybody. The torrent actually hits nobody. What's happening right now? Flyby is completely stuck. A second clap coming through here from Mugi. First blood will go to Flyby, or rather Kaka picks it up.
First blood.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate there. And looks like Phoenix is just going to throw out a couple more spells onto the Pudge. So yeah, that is a pretty unfortunate skirmish there for CDEC. I don't think it's going to be too terrible for the laning phase of either team, but having that little advantage is definitely good.
Flyby had to sell a branch to TP back to the bottom. I don't know, man. That seems pretty bad. You gave first blood to the defensive tri lane, and now Pudge is like walling his way to his Tranquil. Looks like he picks up a magic stick.
Yeah, I mean, it is bad, but I think that CDEC has the better team fight here. We can see that a couple of spells are going to be thrown out.
And now Demon's in a lot of trouble. Demon's looking to get the kill on Kaka. He does, the big swords, and now he's going to be able to juke around. Mugi's going to cut him off, and there will be a return kill. So at least they got the initial kill here. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think if CDEC plays it a little bit slower, I think they do have the better tri-lane here. They have a lot more sustain potential. Kunkka's spells aren't particularly expensive. For example, the Torrent you can constantly throw out. And it looks like he's playing a little bit overzealous here. He's going to get caught out by the Pudge and the Crystal Maiden again.
Dude, them creeps, them trolls also coming in to help out. Nice dodge on the Torrent. Now Kaka will be able to just pick up yet another rot kill. This is Fairy Fire walking to that shower room. Trying
Oh man.
a little bit too far.
Yeah, just as I say that, they should be playing a little bit slower. I think Kunkka, they're not really playing as a unit right now. Because I think if Benj is over there or if the Phoenix is over there, that kill probably doesn't happen. They should be making these small rotations together, but looks like that's going to be kind of dissipating for now. And this is what I was saying earlier, is that it was probably going to be an Axe versus a Tidehunter 1v1 lane, and I think that's going to have a little bit of a pretty big impact because Axe goes for the very early Blink Dagger, whereas you don't see that from Tide these days. He typically goes for something like a mech or something along those lines. So we're probably going to see Axe coming into play a little bit earlier, and since he does have that 1v1 matchup, I think the Blink Dagger is going to play a very early role in this game.
Who do you think has the better matchup here? I think both these heroes normally are good against melees in general.
They are. I think Axe actually dumpsters him, partly because dumpster is a strong word. I think he does very well against the Tidehunter because he has a natural high regen, and he also farms. Both of them can farm the neutrals, but I think Axe does it more efficiently.
Bottom lane, Kaka eats a magic missile, but here comes Ursa again, just claps down all three. They really want Kaka, but Kaka pops a magic stick in the very last second. In fact, he can come back in. In fact, Frostbite goes on Flyby. Flyby will go down hook by Kaka. Well, now I'm not surprised about the last pick Pudge because this guy knows how to play. And I gotta say, they keep running into the clap from Ursa. It's just doing so much work.
Yeah, I'm not sure if... When I looked at the lane, I thought CDC would have the favorable matchup here because I think they have a pretty decent kiting potential, assuming that, you know, both Venge and Kunkka don't both get hit in the clap and things like that. They can kind of support each other. But of course, Crystal Maiden and Pudge have a very good combination as well with the Frostbite hook. It's pretty easy to land those.
I think the initial couple kills meant a lot for Newbee because you look at Pudge, he started with boots, he now has Tranquil finish, and he has a magic stick as well, so he has a ton of sustain. And they keep trying to kill Kaka, which is just not happening. Crystal Maiden also able to pick up boots in those kind of try fights. Like having the extra movement speed of the magic stick is so key. So I think that's why CDEC is now... Are they making an adjustment to move away the Phoenix?
I think so. I think they're kind of abandoning this lane. They're probably going to have Phoenix helping out the Queen of Pain a little bit because along with the Axe, I think she's going to be their, of course, their mid-game powerhouse. So they want to make sure that she gets a little bit of farm for herself. I think that the Phoenix should probably help her. I'm not too sure what he's doing right now.
Looks
Just
like
grabbing
he's
the bounty runes.
Yeah, steal runes too. And I think back to your point earlier up top lane, Axe definitely has a kill potential over Tidehunter. And until Tidehunter hits 6, like there's really no kill potential whatsoever. The other way around, so I expect.
Yeah, I think it would have been actually very cheeky for Tide to get a couple points into Gush.
Just for
the thing is, you're always, yeah, just for the 1v1. The minus armor is pretty good against Axe. He doesn't actually have too much base armor apart from when he goes for the call.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're playing these kinds of heroes that are mid-game kind of powerhouses, you want to make sure that you have those key points into things like Anchor Smash where you can actually go jungle or clear Ancients if that ever does become an opportunity. It looks like they're actually making Phoenix solo against the Tidehunter, and they're going to let Axe go in the jungle.
Well, Pudge hits a raw hook on herself, and that allows Mugi to walk in, look for the kill. Nice X-back, but the Rot is keeping on Flyby. Flyby is going to go down. They got a clap, they got a Frostbite, and now Demons is going to go down as well. Touch making a lot happening on this bottom side of the map. He is not even going to go back to base because he got Tranko, he's got the Crystal Maiden Aura, and he's looking to snipe here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he knows the dives down.
September, nice hook back in, and now that's going to be yet another kill. We'll let Mookie pick it up. Alright. This is definitely night and day compared to game 1 because Kaka is going off.
Yeah, that's the strength of Crystal Maiden. She just kind of lets your supports as well as your core heroes just spam out those spells. Like we've seen Ursa throw out like how many Earth Strucks already.
Yeah.
That's kind of the power of the Crystal Maiden. It looks like we're gonna have a little bit of rotation going on into the mid lane. I'm not too sure what CDEC is doing. Every time we kind of jump to them, they're kind of halfway through a skirmish. So it's or at least I am. I'm not sure if you're picking these up right from the get-go.
Dude, I'm pro caster. I'm catching everything.
All right, so I'm just wondering, how are they like getting caught out here? Because I think they should be playing really far back. Because if the Kunkka's playing back and the Venge gets caught out, you can always torrent, and if Kunkka gets caught out, you can at least stun the Ursa. So I'm not too sure how things are kind of going down here.
I think CDC, they're not like the priority number 1 isn't surviving. I think their priority number 1 is trying to kill people, right? Which in lately puts yourself in a more dangerous spot. So.
Yeah, I guess. I thought they would have just given up after the second or third kill, but I think they're playing a little bit too aggressive. The thing is, sometimes feeding kills is not so bad because you for example, for those that watch Western Dota, you see Moon Meander. He's well known for kind of feeding in the offlane, but he gets a lot of EXP. As Ford does it too sometimes, where you play a hero like Darkseer or Beastmaster. Meanwhile, at top, we have a little bit of an excursion going on here.
All right, flyby juking into the trees, and he does have the 1 point to gush. KP was listening. And the armor minus is going to be definitely very helpful here. Kaka most likely will try to get the kill. Wait, what's happening over here? Alright, Anchor Smash will pick up the kill, but here comes Axe. I think this could be an easy dunk. No spin whatsoever. Alright, Kaka is having good luck as well. KP's going to walk in, start Anchor Smashing and body blocking, but Kaka will get off the dunk. Crystal Maiden coming in as well. But with the actually accelerated movement speed, Axe gets to run out of there. Grab's gonna get committed here. They really want this Axe, and they will be able to. No! He pops out the spin, and the spin gets the kill. And now, looks like there was a buyback? Or was that just a respawn? Darkrai comes in from the back line.
Respawn.
Okay, and they get the kill. So, that turned out to be decent for CDC, considering how the laning stage was going.
Yeah, it's really good. Get a bit of a swing in your favor, and the thing about the Axe getting that final kill is also very good. Meanwhile, at mid, we have a little bit of a skirmish going on, not too much. Oh, going for the fish, but missing the hook at the Queen of Pain. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, you just want to make sure that you're getting these kills. That gush point was actually pretty pivotal in getting that kill onto the Vengeful Spirit. I think going for that dive was a little bit overzealous, but you got to make the plays and kind of push your advantage with a team like this.
Oh, really nice bait here coming out from CDC. Kaka in a little trouble. He's looking to get off the hook, will not be able to do so. SC letting them orbs fly. Good rotation here by Demons, because that would have been an easy kill on Shade. Well, easy if the hook is hit. But in fact, they turned it around, so good stuff. Now, I'm not sure how many carry Venges you've seen, but generally carry Venges fail when your laning stage don't go well. And I'm going to say right now that she is not having the best of times.
Yeah, but the thing about even when you play carry Venge, you typically go for a relatively supportive item build. You go for, sure, you get the Dragon Lance, but then you go for something like a Solar Crest. I've even seen some people pick up things like Pipe later on. And Pipe's not a terrible item this game, actually. So Venge is kind of supportive in nature, even when she's kind of playing carry. So she'll be able to kind of contribute to her team. The problem is her team won't be benefiting too much from the aura, which is something that I also want to mention early on. You have heroes like Phoenix, Axe, Kunkka. These aren't heroes that benefit too much from her Vengeance aura, so I'm not too sure how much of a part she'll be playing in this game, especially with a start like this.
Yeah, Queen of Pain does have some decent right click, but she's just the one, right? So
yeah,
that's an issue. And I think normally at this stage of the game, if you have a very good Venge, like good farmed Venge, she could actually be a big part of your ganking force. And I think that's a lot more of the successful Venges play that way. And
yeah,
now, in fact,
I think
he might get ganked.
No, I was going to say, I think the goal was, he's playing a little bit safe. I think he'll be fine for now. But we do have a little bit of a skirmish happening at mid. So Queen of Pain does get rooted up. That's unfortunate.
And Kaka easily lines it up, gets the kill, and he's going for a hood first. And that's got to be a very, very good item in this game, right? Kunga Bolt,
yeah.
Phoenix ult. Man, that's a lot of magic damage. In fact, are they going to swing around for a kill? Mookie just breaks the smoke. Okay, that's cool. But it's a
I
bait,
think they can
right?
still get. Yeah, it's a bait. It's definitely a bait.
Literally not a bait. Crystal Maiden looking for the Frostbite. But with the Tidehunter standing in the front, with the Ravage prepped up, it is going to be hard to challenge this Roche.
Yeah, they know the Phoenix is not level 6. That's the main reason I think they're going for this. They know Kunkka and Phoenix haven't, like, if this fight happens, like, maybe another easy hook.
Oh, there's going to be Astro being used right now. KB walking forward. They got the X Torn. Flyby just walks away. Where's the Ravage? The Taunt's going to let them walk away. This Ravage is going to be good on 3. The Anchor Smash on 3 as well. 2 dead, 3 dead. And Newbee says, yeah, we're going to go back to Roche. The respawn times is pretty low, but not low enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. If this fight happens maybe like 2-3 minutes later when Kunkka and Phoenix are level 6, Phoenix is just down.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. I think he was... He might have stalled them long enough. Ursa's really low right now.
Okay, maybe a clap will bring him low even further?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure, actually. It looks like they're just going to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I think that was actually very smart by them, because they know that the Phoenix and the Kunkka aren't level 6, and those are the the key abilities that you're typically afraid of when you're around the Roshan pit. So they pick up a very early Roshan. We probably aren't going to be seeing a play like that for another long while, unless they win, a handed fight or something like that, because once they get those teamfight abilities, it becomes significantly harder.
Well, if you look at the mid lane matchup, after all of these ganks happening to the mid lane, SC enjoying a pretty big lead, going to be going for the Hand of Midas. We'll see what Shade actually goes for as his first item of choice. Earlier, I think you kind of touched on Axe as a possibility. Maybe even like a Veil of Discord. Some players like to go for that. Blade Mail is also a choice. I don't know. Is there an item you prefer in this game?
I haven't seen Blade Mail on Queen of Pain since the nerf to the level 25 talent.
Right.
But Veil is actually really good this game, but the only issue is I'm not too sure if they're going to get too many kills. Like, it looks great on paper when you see, like, Phoenix, Kunkka, all these heroes, and you're like, Veil's awesome. But, like, Yule's isn't particularly bad. I'm not too sure. It looks like she is going to be going for the Midas. It seems like most cores these days just default to the Midas.
Alright, Tide on the bottom side now. There is a Blink Dagger on Axe, but that's just the one guy you can't kill. They're going to rotate even more heroes coming in, but... do you really want to go on Tide, especially when there's mech, infused raindrops?
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
Yeah, just these two heroes are so beefy. They are kind of clumped up, and it looks like they're going to be counter-initiating here.
Well, here comes the Sunray, there's a Torn and the Bolt, and now the Taunt's going to be onto 2. They will take down the Pudge. The dunk comes out, the mech a little bit too late because of the stuns here. The Egg on the backline covering the retreat, the swap, breaking out the tree, Flyby on the run. Now the Egg pops, they will have a secondary Taunt, and they will take down Ursa. I think Ursa does go down. The movement speed allowing them to retreat. Phoenix on the dive out. Very good fight so far. We have Flyby porting home, and I do believe June could blink out. So safe retreat here by CDEC. Sick play from them. They lose nobody. No, they want to go in for more. Queen of Pain comes in. Big Sonic Wave, but now they have the Ravage. I think the greed is now not paying off. And now they lose 2 cores on that re-engagement. CDEC. Well, I think they got a little bit greedy there.
Oh man, this is something that I always do. Well, I'm a bad player, so I do this. But I always see people blink when they use Queen of Pain's Scream. It's like one of those things you feel like you have to blink. I think the Queen could have just ultied. She probably didn't have to blink there to use her ultimate. And that kind of caused her to end up falling down. But that was a very good counter team fight from Newbee. I think they kind of stayed a little bit too long. They expended the Kunkka ultimate a little bit earlier, getting the kill onto the Pudge and bringing the Tidehunter low. So they should have probably, taken the victory and backed off.
I think the worst part was that was when the Coco one ward off, right? Like, so they started taking damage as well, and then they got ravaged. That was one of the cleanest team fight, at least the first half for CDEC, because they were able to control the Tidehunter. He wasn't able to get off Ravage to save the Pudge. And but the fact that they went for the second half of the team fight is what really punished them. Mugi picks up a solo with a blink, or now picks up the blink.
Yeah, this is another kill onto the Queen of Pain at mid. This is just not a good game for CDC right now. So I think we have to talk about some of the things that they can do to kind of claw their way back into the game.
Right.
The Midas is going to be coming up for Queen of Pain a little bit. What they have to do is, I think, you have to dedicate like Axe is what he's doing right now is I think he has to sit behind the Queen of Pain for maybe like 2 minutes. There probably isn't another big item that Axe can pick up that's going to really swing there. You know, you can pick up the Blade Mail and something like that.
Fight is happening right now. Blink, Torrent Bolt on the top lane. They really want OD. OD has already used this Astral, but here comes Ursa as well. They will get one, the Frostbite and the Bite going on. The defensive swap pop out, but Flyby is just going to be dead. Egg popping in a little bit late. The hook back in by Kaka. The play is there, but I think the defensive retreat. Wait, what? He wants to fight. He wants to go in. He gets now Frostbitten up. Mugi comes in, says free bird. We will take him down. And now Demons is... I don't know how he's going to run from this one. He is absolutely dead. Drops a ward before dying. And, well... You said something about comeback?
I was saying the way for them to come back was that Axe had to kind of sit behind a hero and let that hero farm. So it'd be Queen of Pain in this case, right? But I think going for that kill. So there's two ways they come back. They either get some kills and they go for that gold swing. You know, when you're sitting back a couple thousand gold, you get some gold back yourself, or you go for the safe play. I think going for safe plays, you rely too much on Newbee making mistakes, or I should say, playing aggressive. You kind of rely. So going for the safe play would have been better, especially considering the Queen of Pain's working towards a Midas. So I think the way they come back in this game is going to be extremely hard. They're down about 10,000 gold at this point. But one of the ways they have to do is just have Axe sit behind the Queen of Pain, let her get her hand of Midas, and kind of play around that. Go for these like saves where you have the Kunkka boat coming in to save an ally. Maybe you lose a hero there, here or there, but you'll slowly accrue a little bit of gold onto your heroes. I think that's what they have to do.
Well, I would agree with you before that team fight because let's go back to that team fight. I think CDC took that fight because Ravage was down and they knew that, so they're like, okay, that's fine. We'll take a fight. They don't have Ravage. We should be able to win the fight. They saw SC use the Astral on a creep, so they know they could burst him down. Now the problem becomes, I don't know whether you could play that defensive Dota anymore because KP, with this Ravage available, will just mow down towers one at a time. So CDC's, again, forced to look for picks. Picks that they're not going to get, and the rest of Newbee will just take down towers one after another.
Yeah, it's a little bit too hard now, I think, to get that style off. So they're kind of going to split up the map. I think this is the best course of action that they can take when the opponents, and there's just going to be Power Rangers TPing into the mid lane.
They're going to try to kill SC before anybody comes in. They do successfully do so. They bite on the Crystal Maiden, and now they're going to try to kill the Egg. Egg pops the Ravage, ensure the Crystal or the Queen of Pain kill. Looks like Flyby will pour it out. The hook from Kaka over the tree line. I'm not sure whether he had vision of him. Now Flyby's on the run. Tries to aggro the Big Birds. The Big Bird says, we'll hit you too. And now here comes Mugi ensuring to kill Newbee. Absolutely terrorizing CDC. I mean, game 1 looked like a stomp, but this, I think, is perhaps even a bigger stomp.
Yeah, I was saying, just as I was saying that, I was like, Kunkka splitting up the map, you know, he's farming top. I thought they would allocate a little bit more heroes into their jungle. Their jungle, you can see, is like completely unfarmed at the moment, so they probably should have had Axe maybe farming there. They knew that 4 of the heroes on a Team Newbee were pushing that tier 1 at bottom, so I think that was their opportunity to split up and get a little bit more gold onto their heroes. But once again, as you're saying, I think they have to go for these risky plays because the farm, you know, the safe farming game's kind of over here.
Wait, Kaka literally...
Kaka just walks up.
Yeah, that's cool. He blinks away, but Kaka's got the magic hook, right? Okay, he does.
Oh, man.
Yo, you know...
He's... Yeah, what?
Have you heard of that rumor or myth? That Dota 1 punch hook curves, if you, like, land it right?
What?
Have you never heard of that?
I mean, I know it had like a little.
Wait,
looks like Kaka might actually be going down here.
Kaka, all right, getting baited.
That was like the dominance farm. You know, when you're like really you're winning the game so much that you farm like right in front of an opponent's tower, well, and then you're like, you guys can't kill me, but I guess
dominance not exerted.
Yeah, that was fake zoning dominance. That was a zoning dominance right there.
Okay. Well, we got Force Staff and Hurricane Pike being worked up here by SC. What's with people just walking up? KP just walks up to the Phoenix as well.
I mean, they can. Like, okay, Tide is a hero that can. I don't know about Pudge, but like Tide, they really can't bring this guy down, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I do agree with you. CDC just gonna play slow, dig deep, look for that Phoenix level 15 talent, but the sad thing is he's only level 10 right now, so...
Yeah.
We might not even see level 15 on Phoenix, given how this game goes.
The thing is, Axe does have his Blade Mail, and Odie and both Ursa are heroes that really hit themselves hard, especially if Odie has the Arcane Orb running. So potentially, if Newbee gets a little bit, because the thing about newbies, I think they have to also stick together. They can't see. You can see that Kaka's kind of roaming around here by himself. They're gonna get a very easy pick off onto him. I think here.
2 kills in a row on Kaka. That's gonna be wait. He pops a hood. He's swapping back in the dunk, and simultaneously they do take down a tower, and they don't lose any objective on their side of the map. So I gotta say that was a clean kill for them.
They still have a lot of their key abilities up from CDEC. They still have the Nova as well as the Queen of Pain ult. And that's what I was saying earlier, just before Kaka died there, is that they have to stay together. They can't get lackadaisical and start splitting up too early, because CDEC does have a very high kill potential team with the Axe, the stun coming out from Venture Spare, all that stuff. So they should be, maybe have a buddy system, maybe stick as 3 heroes or like 2 heroes, and try to save each other. You can always rely on the Power Ranger teleports to come in and help out your heroes, because they have very durable heroes. So if Ursa gets initiated or Punch gets initiated, they can survive for maybe 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, Newbee is gonna go into the pit, and there's no challenge for CDC. They just can't come in. So the next Aegis will go to Ursa as well. Now you did mention that Blade Mail Blink is going to be a decent factor against Ursa, but Ursa, he has the Vlads, so Vlads is definitely going to cut down the damage that he received.
I think at this point he'll just body axe if he blinks on him, because he does have the Deso. Deso with Fury Swipes does an insane amount of damage actually, and I think Deso is one of the things that does make Ursa a decent tower pusher. He's still pretty bad, but Deso makes it so that he's somewhat tolerable against towers.
Well, also when there's nobody standing to defend the tower, this is really good.
Yeah. Because even a hero like Odie, he doesn't hit particularly hard. He hits for a decent amount, so the minus armor does a little bit.
Alright, here comes a TP from TIE Hunter. Blink on Flyby. The Torrent's gonna fly out, and Flyby knows he's dead. He's just running from the other direction. Alright. But Shade is continue to split push. I gotta say, going back to the pick ban stage, I don't know if Queen of Pain was like the pick into the OD, because what we've been seeing a lot in this mid game was Astro just leads to a kill every single time, because Astro allows the Crystal Maiden to walk in, allows the Pudge to walk in, and they will get off their stuns before you get off your blink. And I think this is the reason why Shade is so far behind. He's only got
This'll come in handy.
the Midas BOT right now.
Yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about is the BOT. He's this is another item that's farming oriented a lot. Like Midas BOT, this was like some
this is some
I don't know,
Merlini shit.
2008. This is some 2008 like Shadow Fiend from like Dota 1 days. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit awkward, but I think splitting up the map, they're going for that the safe farm route. I think, which I'm not sure if you really come back doing that, but it is an option if they can delay the game for 20 minutes somehow.
Well, the option is they can't fight right now, right? So they're gonna try to, I don't know, use these early towers as time buffers essentially, and defend at the high ground and split push. But Kaka in position will get off the hook, and that's a kill. In fact, he just soloed the Quap. Alright, where the hell is he? I don't think he could fly off the map.
Yeah, you used to be able to.
I think you would like maybe push you this way. But
yeah, I remember like there's some heroes that literally just like started going out of the map.
Like Bat Rider, that's some OP stuff.
Yeah. There, and then Ice Frog was like, no, that's not happening.
Back in the mid lane. Oh, Axe blinks in, misses the call, and now Mugi blinks other way. Just okay. Well, that's a dead Kunka.
Yeah, that was a very like even if they called them their tier 1's right there and their shrines right there, there was probably not going down. I'm not too sure. I think we're kind of grasping at straws here, so I think the mid lane matchup would have been a little bit more better. Like if because the thing is, when one of your lanes gets kind of decimated, it has a big impact on the other lanes. Like Pudge just started to roam around the map after like minute 5 and start dumpstering everybody. So that kind of made it a little bit harder for Queen of Pain. We saw the Crystal Maiden and Pudge landing some pretty easy hooks onto her. So I think it kind of made the Queen of Pain's lane hard. The fact that their CDEC's offlane, their aggressive offlane, got kind of destroyed.
Well, CDC definitely not tapping out just yet. They're looking to hold high ground, and they will try the best to do so. We got Phoenix picking up a Hannah Midas, level 12 already, so maybe we'll even see that 15.
No, Kunko's going real old school with the Shadow Blade here. I'm not too sure if that's the play either. It does allow him to set up some kills here and there. It's a little cheeky, but
or just to clear the creep waves, man. Just extra stuff out there and.
That's what I was saying. If you're going to do that, go for like an armlet. I think that's better. Because I think what they have to play for now is trying to defend their high ground as hard as possible.
Right.
And I'm not sure if Shadow Blade is the play for that. Because right now they're doing two different things. Like Queen of Pain is she's gone for a very farm-oriented build with the boots. She's kind of getting bodied at mid here. Ooh, that was very close.
Right, that was SE perhaps messing up and giving him a break.
Yeah. That was a zoning ultimate. That's this.
Also exerting dominance.
This particular circle here is belongs to me.
Okay. Well.
But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is that the Queen of Pain? She's gone for a little bit more of a farming-oriented thing with Boots of Travels and the Hand of Midas, and Kunkka has gone for a little bit more aggressive here with the Shadow Blade, drums, and all that stuff.
Kaka almost catching out the TP would have been a quap kill. I wonder. Okay, looks like it's gonna be a Lincoln's on quap. Because I figure she's gone this route so hard, I thought she might go for like an Aghanims or something. Just like every creep wave, you just pop your ult, push it out.
Yeah, the thing is the Lincolns makes it significantly easier for her to actually split push.
Right,
if the
don't
game
get
ever
punished.
gets to that, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's their goal with that. Because the game, it has kind of slowed down. We haven't seen any there hasn't been a big team fight in the last maybe 3-4 minutes here.
Well, it looks like it might break out right now as both teams is setting up on the bottom side of the map. CDEC think they're going for a solo SC, and Newbee is completely expecting that as well. KP this time has the Blink, Mech, and the Ravage. And SC, he is debating hard right now. Flyby revealed, he blinked on, and now the Ravage is gonna hit everybody. Axe, he's in. The egg does actually pop off, so that could be pretty good. No, Mugi comes in, he's looking for the egg pops, and it dies. Nice hook here by Kaka. You shall not escape. That's 3 kills. And that was a textbook counter gank, baiting with your core.
Yeah, Kunkka didn't even bother throwing his ulti there. He's just like, I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah. Well, he does throw his bolt on the mid lane to clear some creeps. There you go.
Yeah, that's might as well. That's the best thing you can do at this point, I think. Oh boy.
He's invis, guys. Alright, he's not invis. So you lose all 4, but you got some early respawns because low levels and stuff.
Yeah, this is looking a bit hard here. At least Queen of Pain is getting some space to farm. She has her Lincolns completed now, so she's going to be able to push out this wave entirely, I think. She probably won't have to back for a little bit. The thing about we haven't talked too much about the warding overall for CDC. And there really isn't much that they can do, I guess. They have the entire Newbee team kind of beating on their tower right now.
Axe gets hooked in as he just gets absolutely decimated. Flyby is going to be soon to follow. I'm not sure about holding the high ground because they can't even hold their, stand in front of the Care Force right now. Newbee, with the help of the Deso on Mugi, they just take down buildings. And GG is called.
Yeah.
Well, how much of it was CDEC getting outplayed and how much of it was Pudge going out? Or is it pretty in tandem?
Pudge did go off. I think he played really well. He had some nice hooks. He had some nice solo hooks without setups, so definitely kudos to him. I think CDC did play their offlane relatively poorly. Like the first kill on the Vengeful Spirit, when they smoked and all that stuff, things happen. It missed Torrent didn't hit anybody, so that was a bit unfortunate. But the next string of kills that happened afterwards, I think that was a little bit more on CDC's part. They did have a pretty good buddy system where Kunkka could save the person that gets initiated on, and Venge could save like a Phoenix or something. Phoenix should never get initiated. The other thing we never really talked about is that Ursa does well against Phoenix because of overpower. So
right, we've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah,
Ursa just pops the eggs.
It was a bit of a mismatchup, I think.
Yep. Well, I gotta say, we expected the series to be closer, and the score is 1-1. But the way that these games have went is just teams just dumpstering each other super hard. But we are going into a decider game 3. Let's see if we're gonna have a little bit more even of a game. Both CDC and Newbee, as you can see, have definitely potential to easily knock each other down. So we'll see who is gonna be the stronger team. We'll take a short break, about 10 minutes or so, and we'll be back for the final one. Game 3 coming up next, guys. I am Luminous, and joining me is none other than Restalker from the Dota commentary days. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. Hopefully this game 3 is a little bit more balanced than the first two.
Yep, we are casting the Summit 7 Chinese qualifiers. We're in the upper bracket, so even if either of these teams lose out the game, they won't be eliminated from the tournament. And obviously the winner gets to kind of go deeper on. Later on after this, we'll be casting...
10 seconds to go.
Let me see. We'll be casting IG versus the loser of this game. So IG currently is sitting in the lower bracket, and they'll face they'll face whoever that loses this one. So we're gonna see one of these teams again. And for now, we have a pretty big change of drafting, right? Ricky as the first pick for CDEC.
Yeah, Ricky is probably one of the most annoying heroes to play against. I think I used to belong to Monkey King, but with the recent slew of nerfs to the hero, I think Ricky's a little bit more powerful. The thing with Ricky is he actually transitions into a pretty heavy damage dealer later in the game, once again, assuming one of these teams doesn't get stomped too hard. But yeah, applying a little bit of early pressure, so we'll see if we have any heroes that work well in tandem with the hero.
Yeah, I think the interesting to see is that the first two game, it was just an offensive tri-lane, right? Versus the defensive tri-lane. I think this game is going to be vastly different in that regard because, let me tell you, CDEC would not run an offensive tri-lane feature in Ricky there. I think the map is going to be more split open. Ricky is looking to help out more lane to lane. Although it was, you know, we'll see Newbee. Newbee still has the option to run an offensive tri-lane if they want.
Dyer's pick.
Yeah, so we have a Disruptor here. Disruptor's pretty good against Ricky. He's very good against most sneaky type heroes, and he's probably one of the more standard, I think, support heroes that you can open up with. He's just pretty good against the vast majority of heroes with his skill kit.
Yeah, so I think the interaction that you see more commonly is that Ricky gets Thunderstrike, he gets dusted, so he tries to run away. Disruptor then casts Glimpse, and Ricky tries to dodge it with the what is it? Tricks of the Trade? No, Cloaks and Daggers. No, Tricks of the Trade.
5 seconds.
But how
his ultimate, yeah,
how it works out is that even though you dodge, you quote unquote dodge it, you still get pulled back to wherever Disruptor pulls you back to when your ultimate ends. So it's more of a temporary dodge, and it's something that Ricky players will have to learn to deal with. But CDC shows their card. It's gonna be a Ricky Lifestealer combination. And I'm pretty sure Newbee was expecting that. They could have blocked the Lifestealer pick by picking it up themselves, but they elect to give CDEC the combo.
Yeah, I think CDC picked it up early because they knew that if they didn't pick it up there, that Newbee probably would have blocked it. Because you typically don't want to show your carry this early on, but once again, if they didn't pick it up, Newbee probably would have just block picked it, as Lifestealer is probably one of the better heroes against Sand King and Disruptor.
Now, I think the other day we saw somebody picked up Lifestealer and the enemy team responded by a TIE Hunter pick, and the Lifestealer just got dumpstered in the lane, right? So I think the danger of picking up the Lifestealer so early is that it gives Newbee time to react, like starting from the laning stage. And we saw what KP was able to do last game with an extremely farmed TIE Hunter. So there are definitely a lot of answers that Newbee could pick up for themselves.
Yeah, that's the problem with the thing with Lifestealer is I think he has very few hard counters. He's probably one of the more if you are ever going to pick a safe lane hero very early, he's probably one of the better options. So that's probably why they were comfortable with going with the hero. Here we see banning out Terrorblade for CDC. So I'm not sure if I'm interested to see why they ban out Terrorblade so early.
Oh, I think it's because it's seen as the natural counter to Lifestealer in the sense that if Lifestealer doesn't pop out in a bomb and kill Terrorblade, Terrorblade just wins every other aspect of the engagement. Because you can't 1v1 him ever, because you can't kill him and he'll sunder you. And then in the later portion of the game, once he gets Scotty, Lifestealer is just not moving.
Yeah.
So
I think... Yeah, you're kind of conceding the late game, I guess, if you're going to be banning out the Terrorblade there. Because the thing with Ricky and Lifestealer, I think you can actually get a lot of kills onto these heroes. Of course, that's thinking about an ideal situation. So Terrorblade is probably a pretty safe ban.
Yep. And pretty commonly, Newbee does take out two other vehicle options for the Lifestealer, both the Batrider and Slaughter. Surprised that actually Slaughter hasn't been more popular in the first phase, because generally very commonly first phase ban hero. So I think CDEC has been banning out Darkseer and Enigma every single game in Stage 2. So we'll see if Newbee actually picks up the Darkseer here. I don't know if Darkseer is the best hero to pressure Lifestealer. Instead, they're going to go with Ursa.
Radiant's pick.
Ursa again. That's pretty interesting. Darkseer does work well with the Wombo combo. He works very well with Sand King and Disruptor, of course. But Ursa, going for the opening, Ursa is one of the heroes that I think just man-fights well with Lifestealer. He doesn't care too much if he gets clouded, and it looks like CDC is going to pick up the Darkseer for themselves here.
Yeah. And that's a sick combo, right? You got the Ricky Iron Shell early on to start making Disruptor's life terrible. So, good stuff. They don't really have an insane combo themselves, though, right now.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say is, the thing about Ricky's, the thing with the Invis heroes in general is that they're typically what I call, economy busters. So they're going to be making the support heroes, buy a lot of sentries and dusts and things like that. So they won't be able to work towards some of their other items if they aren't able to actually get, kills onto Ricky or, D-ward. Using their sentries, so hopefully they're able to buy some time with the lack of economy on the support heroes.
I don't know, whenever I play Ricky, I'm like Reaganomics for my opponents. They buy dust, they earn 300 gold, just...
Yeah, that's the other problem. If they actually get kills, then...
It pays for the dust and then some. But, alright, Newbee is gonna go back to the Tidehunter pick for KP, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, it is definitely a very strong lane dominator against Lifestealer. And really, I don't think there is a single support hero that CDEC could pick right now that could give them a good lane versus Tide. So maybe there's an option of dodging the lane for CDEC, sending your Lifestealer +1 up, up on the top lane. But does Lifestealer want to lane against Ursa either? It feels like this Lifestealer is just stranded. There is no good lane for him.
Yeah, this is either you get a very good lane for Darkseer or you kind of throw your Lifestealer under the bus, I think, and that's probably not something that you want to do. I can't really think of a support that's particularly good against Tidehunter in this case.
I mean, Tide just has one level of Kraken Shell, and your support is okay, well, I don't do any damage now, so yeah, Tide's OP, dude.
He's pretty good. The thing is, I don't see too many Western teams picking up Tide. Have the Chinese teams, I don't watch too much Chinese Dota. I've just been watching the qualifiers recently. Is he a top pick or?
No, he's not. He's actually, I think he's more of a situational pick. I think last game he was picked for the situation for those mid-game fight. Remember, Ty was standing in front of the Roche pit and they just got H's. And then this game, I think he's more or less picked for the laning stage. But again, it's going to be the Ursa plus Ty combo. So we're going to see Newbee, once again, once it gets to the 15-20 minute mark where Ty has to mech and Ravage, he's going to just stand in front of the Roshan pit and make it hard for CDC to come in. But CDC will pick up Witch Doctor, which I think has one of the higher base damage as most support hero goes. And technically has some kill potential if the Casket gets lucky bounces and if you have an early level of Maledic, he could do some work.
10 seconds to go.
Yep, Ricky Witch Doctor is a pretty decent roaming duo if they ever feel like the thing is, if you can make some space for the Lifestealer, I think he does eventually pretty decently against Tidehunter. So if you can maybe get up 2 or 3 levels onto the hero, then you can kind of roam around with the Ricky and Witch Doctor and create a lot of pressure. Newbee still hasn't picked their mid hero unless the thing is, Ursa can very rarely go into the mid lane, so we'll see if it's a matchup. It looks like it's gonna be a mid Magnus.
Yo, alright, so before Magnus was all the rage in this patch, I think maybe 6 months ago or maybe a year ago, September, who's gonna be playing the Magnus mid, or not September, Shade is gonna be playing the Magnus mid. He had this build where he went Battle Fairy Magnus, Battle Fairy Echo Saber, what is the upgrade to Calling Blade? Iron Talon? Talon? He was all about them. Ooh, this is gonna be a KP Naga, I think. Nope, SD Naga. Right, anyway, so he is gonna be farming up a Storm. And he has to, because he's gonna be the secondary carry of choice in this game. But Newbee looking to play some Naga Dota. So this game, one way or another, is gonna be going long. This is giving me some terrible flashback to the Naga game that we experienced earlier in pubs.
That was Quest Dota. Quest Dota at its finest. So back to this game, I think it's a pretty decent Naga draft. They have heroes that can create a lot of space for her with the Tidehunter. All the other 4 heroes are very good at creating space for the Naga, and eventually they can start getting objectives once the Naga's farmed up here. So it's going to be, the onus is going to be on CDEC to make a lot of plays here.
10 seconds
Yep.
to go.
And try to shut down the Naga.
And they have a way to do so, right? Ricky just with the Lifestealer inside looking for a Naga. Now, I think actually they could easily kill the Naga as well, right? You just cloud on top of her, pop out with open wounds, right? Look like the
Yeah.
Naga's dead.
I think that's the ideal scenario, but the issue is that you can probably do that for maybe the first 15 minutes of the game or so, but after Tidehunter and Sand King get a little bit of items, it's going to be very hard to kind of just blow up the Naga instantly. The thing is, she is a relatively low HP hero for the vast majority of the game, so until she farms up something like an Octarine, and she has a pretty high strength growth, so before she gets those levels, you can probably take her down.
I mean, she has decent armor, which is like pretty important versus Feast as well as Backstab. I actually think it's more up to what Mugi does, right? Imagine if Mugi picks up an early Vlads and Blink Dagger, and instead of you like trying to gank the Naga, he's ganking your supports, forcing you to kind of play on your half the map. I think Naga prefers that the most. So to me, the player to be looking out for is the Ursa, and honestly, judging from how Mugi played in Game 1 and Game 2, I thought he played pretty impressively. So I'm expecting him to do well here again.
Yeah, he played exceptionally. I think the thing with this game that's going to be a lot more different is that Riki's very good at placing observer wards, and the thing with Naga is she's a hero that likes to kind of duck into her own jungle after a certain point and just farm up the jungle. So Riki can get those stealthy wards in, and then they'll be able to go for Lifestealer bombs and get pretty easy kills if Newbee's not around to help her.
Interesting. Demon places a deep observer. We saw Kaka doing this last game. So both teams kind of trying out the same observer spot. Not exactly sure how important that ward was, but early game smoke here from Newbee, looking to maybe scout out Ricky. Like, do they have dust available? They have a sentry available on Kaka. And they have a dust on Sanking as well. Okay. Yeah, they definitely have enough to kill Ricky should they run into them. But the smoke is about to end.
Seconds to showtime.
Did they see him there? I don't know if
well,
it
they
actually
dusted
caught
him. And the dust actually catches him, but he's just TPing out. Glimpse level 1, selected. Oh, he took Glimpse, but he was unable to cast it. Alright. Economy Buster, man. September is doing it. 90 gold down the drain.
Yeah. Doesn't oh man, dust doesn't cost mana anymore. It's gonna say 5 mana down the drain too.
Alright, calm down. 5 mana gets regen.
Hey man, one time I played against an Invoker like a couple of years ago. He EMP'd me and I could not dust.
Man, that is a hard counter to dust. EMP. Alright, looks like I think Darkseid's just jungling. Okay.
That's pretty interesting. Another thing I want to talk about very quickly is that Lifestealer actually went for a very early Blightstone, which is pretty decent against the Tide, but the issue here is he's going to get dual linked, so that's not going to be a good time for him.
Yeah, Caustic in particular, it's going to be pretty rough against him, but again, I think Watch Doctor is probably one of the better supports you could pick in a situation like this.
Yeah, he's alright. He went for a very early point to Maledict, so they can try to pressure him.
Level 1 Maledict, man. Just let it rip. Look at right clicks.
Yeah. I think that's what they have to kind of do at this point. Looks like they're going to try harassing out the Lifestealer, but he should be fine. I think the lane is going to be relatively okay. The issue is when the offlane heroes actually start getting a little bit more levels. Because I don't think Lifestealer's level 2 is particularly good. Witch Doctor does get cast, but it's not going to do too much against these, you know, beefy kind of bruiser type
It's more
heroes.
of the Kraken Shell level 2 and the Caustic level 2. Like, actually, I was surprised that Demon is able to do... But what happened? I think Shay pushed SC back, but SC just made illusion on his tower, so he's fine. But yeah, the Maledict actually did a lot of work. Kaka now Burrow Shreks in. And he's able to trade fairly effectively.
Yeah, I was slide showing for a little bit, but it seems to calm down.
I also think the nature of how this bottom lane will go is that both heroes are going to be trading a lot. I think trading benefits Newbee because they have a shrine to fall back onto. Whereas CDC, like, you know, if you're out of region, you're out of region. You need to buy more.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And the other thing is, you have to always consider which, you know, who are the heroes that are actually getting these trades. So if you get like a Sand King and a Tidehunter and they end up getting maybe like 50% or 60% the farm of the Lifestealer, that's actually like, I think a lot better than just getting completely zoned out. So the fact that they're able, you know, even able to kind of contest and eke out a little bit of advantage against the Lifestealer is definitely noteworthy.
Alright. Well, so far Shade has the 1 point into Empower. I wonder if he's actually going to be maxing it first. I did mention that he did have a thing for maxing Empower and Battle Fury and all that jazz. But, oh, mid lane, Shade might be getting solo kill. SC with the haste rune walking in, blocking him a little bit along the way here. He will have Riptide in 2 seconds, and the haste rune will allow him to keep up. This could be a solo first kill. And Nice Guy even pushes him away, so the TP will not do anything.
Yeah. That was a bit overzealous from the Mag there. I think you probably want to level up Shockwave here because you are able to kill the Naga illusions pretty easily, but if Sand King makes these early rotations and is going to be a little bit annoying for the Mag, you might want to get those points into Empower. So I think he's going to wait a little bit to see how the Sand King kind of plays his game. If he notices that the Sand King is roaming a little bit on him, he'll probably get more points into Empower. Otherwise, I think he should be relatively okay against the Naga with just spamming out the Shockwaves.
So very interesting adjustment of play here. We talked about what the Sand King and Tai could do in the bottom lane, but after getting the Tai to quick level 3, Tai is just jungling straight up now. And that frees up the Sand King, but at the same time, Lifeslayer could do whatever he wants on the bottom lane. And that also frees up Demon on the Witch Doctor, so he is able to start rotating.
Yeah, I think when they saw that the Witch Doctor had Maledict very early on, that it was going to be a little bit troublesome to lane against him, because I think if he actually went Cask level 1, that lane might have been, I wouldn't say lost, but it would have been a lot harder. Getting that Maledict, he ended up taking like 70% of his health like, right away, and yeah, that's no joke. I'm
pretty impressed actually with the level 1 Maledict. It's not something you see too often, but in a situation like this, it definitely worked out, because Tidehunter is not strong, or not tanky till level 2 with a Kraken. Casket flying out, Kaka will be eating a couple of right clicks, and they have the Maledict as well. Is that a level 2 Maledict? No, just level 1, so it's pretty puny, but with the Blink Strike coming through, they will get the kill. Alright. You did mention that they could roam pretty effectively, but damn, I didn't expect that kill.
Yeah. The thing with that's a really good thing about Riki is that you always want someone who's constantly doing damage as the Maledict ticks kind of go, and they have the Darkseer Ion Shell that they can always throw onto the Riki, as you mentioned earlier. So they are going to have a little bit of kill potential here. They can pressure the Ursa. He's just farming under his tower for the time being. But going back to the Mag, it looks like he is going to be leveling up the Shockwave. And as I stated earlier, Shockwave is very good at clearing out the Naga illusions. So if SCCC ever feels like using that to kind of farm up, he can always clear them out.
Right. And let's not forget, you do get a little bit of gold for killing the illusion, so it's not nothing. Top lane. The Circle of Feeling gets dropped, and he is stuck there a little bit for now. They have the Glimpse available, but it's only a level 1 Glimpse, so it was a long cooldown. They will dust up on Riki. Riki trying to juke, and ankles are absolutely broken. He Blink Strike, and now there's 2 Iron Shell creeps just freaking killing Faith. Alright, he's fine too, but 90 more gold down the drain. These guys get the Shrine up. Oh no, Shrine's not available.
Yeah, but that's a pretty decent trade overall, I think. They have a double Ion Shell running on to the creeps there for the Ursa. It's going to make a little bit of trouble. And of course, once again, economy busting, right? Getting the dust thrown out, no kills.
Yeah, let's count.
That's 180 gold.
Yeah, let's start adding up like how much gold they will miss out for all the missed dust and missed entries.
180 gold, man. That's like almost 3 Observer Wards. That's no joke.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Back in the mid lane. I gotta say, SC, after getting that solo first blood, is actually doing quite okay. He's received absolutely no pressure whatsoever so far from CDEC.
On the bottom lane, we have a little bit of a thing going on to the Tide here.
Yep. That is gonna be a kill, I believe.
Oh, that is a kiss. Yep.
Maledict. What a spell.
How many points does he have? Yeah, he has got a second point into that. I think if he didn't have a second point, that might have not been a killer. At the very least, it probably would have been a longer chase.
Yeah, Maledict has like such an interesting scaling. Like level 1, it just doesn't do anything, and as soon as you have that level 2, it's actually like a pretty legit threat. Even Tidehunter goes down to it.
Yeah. And I think that's he probably wasn't expecting the level 2 Maledict, because typically you got 1 point for the early zoning on the offlaners, and then you want to get Cask for the control. So considering he's level 5 and he's got decent points into Kraken Shell here, he probably thought it was more safe than he was.
Yep. SC farming extremely well right now, leading in terms of the net worth. Shay misses his Shockwave though, but here comes the gank party. Faith is in position as well. Blink strike. Oh, the song. Ooh, this could be real bad. Sand King's gonna pour in as well. Who do they want? Who do you want? They want the support on the right side. It's gonna be the Witch Doctor. Okay, the Smoke Cloud's gonna be there. They burrow strike in as well. Kaka though eats quite a bit of damage to the Maledict. They glimpse him back too. Shade gonna be giving up a kill. The nice body blocking coming out from KP. Can they actually get him down? The kinetic field not gonna trap him. The Cloud's gonna come through as well. Shade taking a lot more damage, but the big tankiness of Magnus allows them to walk away. That could have been actually really bad, but they were able to trade 1-for-1, so not too bad for CDEC.
Yeah, I think it was actually a heads-up play to go for the Witch Doctor. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get him before he threw the cask out there. So that's a bit unfortunate there, because I think if you go for the Ricky, you kind of give the free cask of the Witch Doctor. It makes it a little bit easier for Magnus to do his stuff, so targeting the Witch Doctor, I think definitely the right play, just a bit unfortunate. Looks like he is going to be putting up a few more points into the Empower rather than opting to go back for the Skewer. This is pretty standard ever since Skewer has been buffed, since it has a pretty decent range at level 1 now.
Right.
So he's going to be ducking back into his jungle, and this is what I said. Probably going to be ducking back. Let's the Witch Doctor get a couple of levels, and when Witch Doctor gets his ultimate, he becomes a pretty decent threat onto the Ursa.
Well, whenever he's not in his ultimate form, because...
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you Maledict, yeah, that's true. Because if you Maledict the Ursa and then he's in his ulti form, you're not going to be doing too much damage to him. So even when the ulti wears off, it's not going to be doing too much.
A little bit of sentry battle on the mid lane here. Maybe you're going to see a little bit of kill attempt. Casset's going to fly out. They have a glimpse away, but pushing back. Ooh, the Skewer got cancelled, but here comes the Ricky. They really want to take in as much damage as they can for SC. That should be the last tick of the Maledict. Might be enough here. Oh my god. Alright.
Oh, that was very close. I think if he was able to get a Ion Shell onto him before he started that whole thing.
I think he did have Ion Shell on him.
Oh, did he? Did it just wear off? Okay.
Because he ran from, you know, top lane to mid, so... I think if that glimpse wasn't there to, you know, stop the Skewer halfway, that would have guaranteed.
That was very clutch. Very nice play.
But like you pointed out, Ricky has been dropping a couple of deep wards, blocks out this camp. But Naga should be aware of that now, as the camp is blocked out, and maybe a support will deward it eventually.
Yeah, I think he put it in a really good spot, because he kind of put it in a... To be quite frank, he put in a relatively poor spot. It doesn't see too much into the Dire Jungle, but at the same time, it makes it harder to actually deward it.
I think people generally deward by putting it here, right? So it might just miss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he purposely put it there to... Because ideally, you want to put it a little bit more to the left. It gives you more vision, but then it makes it more susceptible to dewarding.
Oh, looks like the Smoke Cloud will miss, and now the Surge, he's trying to juke himself or something. The Iron Shell doing a little bit of work here. Kaka can't burrow strike through. There's a casket. Where's the Maledict? Maledict's there as well, and Kaka, well, he's just getting run down. Yo, TP out as well. Where's the Glimpse? The Glimpse cancel the TP. They drop the Sentry Ward. Alright, 1-for-1 is the trade, but not too bad for CDC. They drew a couple of TP out there, and they're applying pressure. The problem is, SC has been untouched. He's doing whatever the hell he wants to do.
Yeah, this is and the TP wasn't so bad because Ursa just goes back to the safe lane anyway.
Right.
So yeah, Naga's gonna be farming up the storm here very soon, I think. The thing we don't see too much anymore is teams just dropping a whole bunch of sentries in the other teams. Like Ricky can just go and block like 2 camps with a couple observers or sentries, and I think we should be. I mean, I don't know. Is that too much of an idealistic way to think? Because I think you just block a lot of camps when you're playing against a Naga.
Yes and no. I think the fact that the camps got changed, where they don't spawn that frequently anymore, anyways. Maybe it's too much of an investment.
Yeah,
but,
that's a very good point.
Well, remember that move I talked about in the draft, where they just walk into the Roshan pit. If they don't get discovered, they take the Rosh for free. If they do get discovered, KP just stands in front. Now, last time he did have a mech for this. Or last game, rather. But this time, I think the sneak is going to be good enough here. CDEC is now aware of the situation, but way too late. As Newbee should be able to take it down. Maybe they could catch him on the way out. Roshan goes down, and now the song. It's going to be retreat. In fact, they want to fight this. They drop the Static Storm. Beautiful Storm on KP, so now he can't actually Ravage. No, just kidding. That was their own Storm. So the Ravage does come out. They kill the Lifestealer. Now Demon's on the top side. Body block coming out from Kaka. That is... Wait. Okay, that is going to be a kill. Alright, so they get the Aegis. They song set up with the Storm. And they get 3 kills on top of that. And now SC will really feel absolutely no pressure after that. He's also halfway to his relic. Really,
yeah, that's what I was going to
start.
mention. They don't have the mech on the Tidehunter yet, but they have the Naga ultimate, and that's always a great tool to have, especially with heroes like Disruptor and Sand King. We saw there, that was that was very well played by the Disruptor. And then when Sand King gets his Blink Dagger, you can kind of actually stay a little bit further back and kind of contribute the same way. So Naga was just a really great pick to kind of round out their team. It lets her secure objectives early on, and of course the wombo combo factor is always there.
I mean, you talked about how the onus is more on CDEC, right? So every fight that they lose like that it's so just backbreaking. And I do apologize for like brain fart, like not the Disruptor was on the Radiant side for a bit. Kaka though looks like he is gonna get caught. Again, they are applying a ton of pressure. It's just the pressure is not on the target that you really want to be. And now SC's on the other side of the map. That's the one other thing that you can't really do about like blocking your jungle. Like SC just says, okay, I'm gonna just farm in your jungle now.
Yeah, I think Naga's kind of gotten to that point where she's a little bit harder to take down. You know, she doesn't have the greatest HP pool, but 1,200 is, you know, almost 1,250, nothing to, you know, scoff at. And her teammates are getting, you know, those key items. They're working towards their thing. You have Tidehunter farming up a double Ancient stack here. Or is that triple? I think that's a triple there that's just finishing up there.
Faith is going to drop the Storm, but, well, Magnus is going to hit him 3 times and almost gets a kill. Nice Shockwave. And Magnus gets the kill.
That's one of those deaths I just kind of give up as a support. Like, I think his team, if they really wanted to save him, they probably could have walked over there, but they're like,
as a Disruptor.
We got to farm here, bud.
You know what's that kill on? That's really on the Disruptor. Like, this area, like, somebody told me, the Nexon champion, Ailson, he says, as a support, you never farm here. You never farm here.
Yeah, you don't.
Especially during nighttime. You just die. And, well, let's just say that Faith is not a Nexon champion. He's a TI champion, but not a Nexon champion.
That's true, that is true. Wise words from Yozun. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a congregation atop.
Wait, Burrow Strike could be the start up here. Burrow Strike's gonna be there. The casket will fly out though. Demons dropping. Okay, good wall on top. There's a glimpse away. I'm not sure who was getting glimpse away. That was the Magnus, but looks like they're gonna be able to turn around. That is gonna be his Aegis on Mugi. Now he does have a blink to maybe perhaps get out, but Face on the back line will get chopped down as well. Really good play. No blink out from Mugi here as they pop the Rage. They're looking to right click. Mugi gonna get confused here, and now the congregation of CDEC will punish. That was a 4-for-0 fight. Naga isn't getting punished, but the rest of the team is. And if you look at the net worth, CDC is leading by 3,000 gold. The question is that lead big enough against Naga?
Yeah, the thing is, Magnus actually went for an Echo Saber build, and the thing about Echo Saber is it's a pretty greedy build because it does help accelerate your farm quite a bit, but it kind of acts as like the pseudo Midas. I would say it's a little bit more of a fighting kind of pseudo Midas style, where you can fight a little bit, you can farm a little bit, and then you can work towards your items, especially with that in power. So since they are getting these kills, I think it's going to pay off. He's probably going to get... I wonder what talent he's going to go for here. So he did go for attack speed instead of spell lamp. Sometimes we see people go for spell lamp on Magnus because it lets you one-shot their range creeps.
Right.
But yeah, he's going for the attack speed. He's going full-on farm mode here.
Yeah. He's going to be having the blink queued up. And it looks like Flyby is getting ready to be involved in this game. He took like essentially the first 15-minute off. Has the Hand of Midas, has the Armlet, and now they're looking to amp up the pressure. And here comes the first of the many Ricky bombs. They see how the Tidehunter is going to be a tough kill though. He's got the Kraken, he's got the mech. He will debuff himself with the Kraken. They know he's inside.
The good thing about Ricky is you can't obviously Kraken off the smoke.
Okay, they have vision on him. Are they going to blink in? This is some YOLO big dive. Ooh, this is not a good spot for CDC if they go in deeper. KP is still inside. Alright, he's caught up on the back line though. They pick up one. Disruptor ultimate again, not doing too much. On the front, they have a 2-man RP. The casket is bouncing left and right. Looks like the death ward will get cancelled. The song will be retrieved, but the Meldic, the big Meldic on SC, he's gonna pop. The song's gonna be over. Mugi does actually have the TP out. Meanwhile, we have September going on Kaka. Kaka going into the Sandstorm. Flyby moving forward, cutting off his retreat pops. Nice vacuum back, and that is gonna be yet another 4-for-0. Alright. That was big. Oh, Mugi actually didn't even make it out. He died in his fountain too. I believe a Maledict.
That Maledict was it got stocked up pretty high onto him. I think KP kind of held onto that title T for a little bit too long. They probably dropped it a little bit earlier as his allies were teleporting in. And then when he threw it out, it was kind of just awkward. I think he might have only clipped like a couple heroes. And most of his team was RP'd when he threw out that ultimate, so they weren't able to capitalize on that.
I mean, let's be real, at this point of the game, their ultimates are only really strong if they all combo together, right? But the nature of that initiation was, like, they were all split up. Tidehunter was in the trees. Fave had to drop an ultimate to save himself, and, well, Sand King doesn't even have his ultimate, so, you know, they were never really going to combo it off, so I don't really think it's KP's fault. Like, there was no good ultimate option there.
Yeah. I don't think it's his fault either, but I think when they dived really far, I think the main issue was that he ultied at the exact same time that Mag got his RP off, so it was like, sure, you don't have your great combos, but it's better than, you know, getting no spells off when you basically just Naga ultied. That was basically that Ravage could be thought of as a Naga ulti because both teams were just kind of stunned up.
Now CDC turning up the gas super fast. Now the Radiance is online, and that is some next level Super Saiyan animation on the Naga. Dumb pay to win animation. Looks sick, but not really helping the situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, the game's gone slightly worse than I think. Okay, slightly it's gone, you know, relatively bad, but I don't think it's, you know, it's not anywhere near the end of the game. You know, I need to kind of reiterate that. So this is where kind of Naga will get to her mass if they're kind of able to do the high ground defense. You know, Sand King, Disruptor, these heroes are very good at defending high ground, and of course Tidehunter whenever he has his ultimate. So they will be able to hold that for a little bit and let Naga kind of split up the map and farm.
I think the danger of what you're running into as Newbee right now is because your early game was so weak on a lot of your other heroes, yes, Naga will be able to drag the game out, but at the expense of your rest of your team, right? They won't be farming as effectively anymore. Like Kaka, at this point, still doesn't have the Blink Dagger. In fact, he's very far away from that. But Naga, as just Naga does, just have to keep doing what he does. Remember that Naga game we played earlier in pubs, and our Storm was just crying, like there's no camps anywhere.
Yeah, that's very true. I would say typically it's not not the worst thing that the Naga farms, but it's a very good thing that you mentioned that most of their key items are, you know, very far off. Here we have Ursa actually being initiated at top here.
Yeah, and when your Ursa dies like this, oh, he pops the rage, tries to TP out. Man, Flyby apparently does a frick ton of damage. He just got melted.
I was just saying earlier, you brought up a really good point, is that it's typically not so bad that the Naga kind of farms everything. The main issue is that the Sand King doesn't have his core items. You know, Disruptor has, you know, sitting at just Arcane Boots. So they're not going to be able to pick up their key items. This is typically why when, you know, you play a position 4 like Clockwork, I see people get like Midas on Clockwork, which is typically, you know, not the best item. Clockworks are very good, you know, fighting hero early on, you want those key items. But when you have a hero like Naga, you know the game's going to drag out. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some relatively questionable, you know, Midas pickups, maybe like 30 minutes in the game. I don't know. I'm not sure if they can go for it, really. They kind of have to just make sure they're able to defend their high ground, I guess.
Right. Like, for example, Kaka, right? Like, I don't think he could even consider Hana Midas. Like, his team just needs him to get a fighting item so badly. So, yes, you know the game's going to drag out, but not sure how much you could do. And constantly, I love the pressure that September's doing. Blink in, they cloud, they open wounds, and this Ursa, who's supposed to be creating pressure for you, is just feeding it.
Yeah. I think that phase is kind of a little bit over, and this is what I was saying earlier, with the last game, I should say, is that you should have some heroes with the Ursa. You know, if you have a Disruptor there, one glimpse onto even the Riki. You know, Riki does a pretty decent amount of damage for a position 3 in this game, I guess you'd say. So just glimpsing one hero out can definitely save the Ursa there. So they should be allocating a little bit more support to him.
Or the Tide, right? I think the Tide probably...
anyone.
Well, meanwhile, we got CDC just kind of simultaneously, systematically taking down the rest of the Outer Tower. And that next Roshan, I wonder if actually CDC will attempt to get it, because I think that might be the best way that Newbee could make a comeback. They bring Roche low, you know, Song, you take Roche, and you take a team fight there. In fact, though, it's going to be Newbee trying to desperately go into the Roche themselves. I'm not sure if this will work out for them.
Yeah, they're just going for a beeline here. CDC is not really, you know, reacting to this, so it looks like it's going to be Newbee's Roshan here.
Well, Riki is going to scout things out. Roshan's at half HP, and now They're gonna pop the smoke. They got the RP. They got, well, too late. Newbee takes the Aegis. And the song should just run, right? They want to fight this.
They should definitely run here.
They could storm on top of him. Oh no, they want to storm the Witch Doctor of all people. Meanwhile, the BKB gets activated. That's why they didn't storm him. The Lifestealer pops out. TI Champ is down. And now KP is on the run. So far, so good here. 1-for-1 trade. Not too bad here for Newbee, considering that you are so far behind.
Yeah. They did blow Song, so they're not going to be able to reset anything that happens in front of their base. So if their heroes get, dove on, the only thing they have to rely on is basically the Ravage. Disruptor did ulti, but it looks like they're going to be going back to just farming, so not too much lost.
Now, do you think this is more or less like a farming Aegis for this Ursa? Like, can they make this like any aggressive play with this Aegis?
See, sometimes, every time I'm watching a game, like from one of these big tournaments, and I'm like, this is going to be a farming Aegis, I always see the teams do the more unexpected play, so potentially we'll see a gank happening in 2 minutes. Sand King is relatively close to that Blink Dagger, just about. So perhaps if Sand King's able to get a little bit more farm, they can do something with that.
Right. Ursa obviously had his Blink for a while, but I don't think I've seen him like make any type of aggressive play. And CDEC is not going to give them the option to. They're grouping up, and looks like they're thinking about ending the game here, or at least poking at the tier 3 a bit.
Yeah, I think they can do a little bit of damage. The Vanguard really tells the story of how this game is going. Typically, you want to go for a Basher instead of the Vanguard if you're playing Ursa, so you're just going to play a little bit safe here.
I think last game in this position, he had a Vlads and Deso on top of that Blink.
Yeah.
Bottom side, it's going to be the Naga getting caught out here. Is there a force to push him away? There is nothing. They get the kill. And is there a punish? Okay, they find the Ricky, but, who the hell cares? No, they glimpse one back. The RP's gonna be there. Lifestealer is inside the storm. Everyone gets pushed out away, though. Shay with the big plays here. Now the Lifestealer is not silenced anymore, and he wins the man fight against Mugi. His Aegis is triggered. And now I think they're thinking about killing him a second time. He blinks away very quickly. So the retreat is there, but the damage has already been done. The mid wave is pushed in. They want to actually go deeper and further. And CDEC getting some critical kills. There is Ravage still available, but just no good opportunity to use it.
Yeah, Sand King also dies when he was about 300 gold or so.
Blink Skewer finds the Disruptor. He's done. The wall is going to be there. KP again trying to use that Ravage. I mean, what is the follow-up to Ravage at this point?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they can fight. They should just, defend the high ground. They did a pretty good job there after they lost some key heroes. Their tower took very minimal damage, and I'm not too sure. They did have an Aegis for that fight, so they're not going to have the Aegis anymore. So it's going to be a little bit harder this time around.
I mean, it was the farming Aegis anyway, so.
Yeah. So Ursa is going for the BKB. It's going to make him a lot more survivable against the Ricky Smoke Cloud, that's for sure, because if you have an Ags,
do you see what's happening? Newbee's farming.
Yeah, they're farming the illusions, yeah.
Dude, this is some, bad signs there, dude.
Yeah, they actually nerfed that because his illusions used to give a lot more gold, and then people were just farming, so they're like, alright, we need to get rid of it.
I mean, I still think that was used to be a meme. You have 4 heroes farming the wall, that's not efficient, but
Hey man, tell that to Eternal Envy, man.
I don't know. Has he died farming under the wall?
Probably at least once or twice. I wouldn't know. If that was one of the trivia questions, I would answer yes.
ESL has some of the best trivia questions. I remember ESL took Envy's top animes from his My Anime list, and it's like, what anime did Envy rate 10 out of 10? That is some that's some real dedication to the craft right there. All right, we got another smoke ant coming out. Ricky, Kaka.
Oh man, he's so close. Oh, he's going for a 4-star.
2-man RP, and KP's thinking about using that ult, but he knows that ult is gonna do nothing. Mugi's on the run right now. On the right side, TI Champ's down again. He drops his storm, but it hits nobody. Alright, 3 dead. Still got the Ravage though.
And this Magnus is just insanely farmed. He's going for a Daedalus now. He's just going to be destroying those. If he ever is able to just hit a Naga illusion, all of them are just going to die instantly.
Oh, if he doesn't miss. But
yeah, it's a pretty decent chance. He's got Echo Saber.
All right, Rage right click the buildings. Can we get one wombo combo? No, Sankey now gets pushed away. Kaka will Burrow Strike to the left side of the vacuum back in, and now the smoke cloud, so KB could not get off the Ravage as a defensive mechanism. Song being used, they ensnare him up. Flyby literally does not care, just right clicks the racks. And he gets it down. Ravage gonna come out here, they need a fight now. They don't have the storm, where's the epicenter? They look to bring one down, Darksair's out. Okay, the cloud though is gonna be a very big annoyance. Mugi is gonna get right click down. The buyback coming out from the Darksair, and Flyby will take down the remainder of the racks. And CDEC is just on a huge dominated fashion here. And they're looking to take the second lane.
I feel so bad for Kaka. Man, he was at like 2,200 gold at one point.
He still doesn't have the blink, oh my god.
No, he's going for Force Staff. I think at this point it might be the right choice. He was so close to it, and then they got that scare onto him.
Shrek gonna be there. They got Storm on top. Pretty good one here, but BKB gets activated. In fact, Lifestealer has a BKB, so there is no respect whatsoever for the Storm. Everyone survives that combo, and unfortunately the Raxus will not survive. When's the last time you've seen a BKB Lifestealer?
It's been quite some time, but this Disruptor is probably one of the few heroes that warrants it, and looks like they are gonna call out the GG here.
Yep. Well, that's it. I gotta say, we don't generally see the mid Magnus too often, but it was definitely a good showing for it. Like, he was just a big force in the mid game.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think Magnus played well. He just, pushed out the waves, went into the jungle, farming with that Echo Saber, and I think they got, I wouldn't say lucky, but they played very well, and the Echo Saber definitely paid off in the end. And I stated earlier, Echo Saber is kind of that middle ground between farming and fighting. Typically, you'll see it sometimes on a hero like Sven, where you farm a little bit and you fight a little bit with the Echo Saber, and it definitely helped them get a lot of gold. I think he was like the highest net worth by like 2,000 or 3,000 at the end.
I think
he just kind of ran down Newbee.
I think the most impressive thing for me was that CDEC wasn't, like 0 to 60 from the beginning, right? Like they basically farmed for like 15 minutes. Yeah, Ricky was running around doing some stuff, but I was commenting, at least for the first 10 minutes, SCCC was the highest net worth. He was able to get, pretty much to Radiance uncontested. But as soon as Flyby said, okay, I got my item, I got my Midas, I got my armlet, let's go. And then it was just, Ricky ganks non-stop. And that's what really took over the game. Newbee was even able to get, Aegis or two, but that didn't even matter because CDEC was just able to run their ganks so efficiently. So, very well played by CDEC. They will be moving on, and as a result, Newbee will be dropping to the lower bracket. Coming out next, we got IG versus Newbee as our best of 3, and the loser of that series will be eliminated from the Summit 7 Chinese qualifiers. But that's going to conclude it for this series. Resoccer, thank you for joining me for this particular cast. Any final words before we take a short break here?
Nothing. It was just the games have been pretty good. They've been a little bit stompy, but some great stuff to analyze overall. That Maledict pickup at level 1 was really one of the. It's such a small thing, but typically Lifestealer gets kind of dumpstered by Tidehunter. Getting that Maledict, push Tidehunter out of lane, and then it really freed up the Witch Doctor and Ricky to kind of roam around. So heads up play from CDC. Good games overall.
Good stuff. And you can follow my co-caster at DC Restalker if you choose to do so, and you guys know where to find me. We'll take a short break, guys. Not game 2. The next set between IG and Newbee will be coming up. And stay tuned, guys. We'll be back.
Cheers.